is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Yes! Good Saturday morning, ladies and gents, and welcome to another edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Wherever you may be tuning in, we thank you for doing so. We've been starting a little bit before 12 noon. For those that are wondering why we're starting earlier than what we have in the past, we have Virginia Beach Mustangs football at 12 noon. Ed's dog is barking because he hasn't been fed. I just took my 3 dogs out because I take care of the pups. The powers that be have the Mustangs football, so we have to go a little earlier to get off the air before 12 noon. Nonetheless, we are pumped, jacked, juiced, excited, all those things, all those adjectives, because we have all kinds of football for all of you happy people out there. We're glad you are tuned in, wherever you're tuned in, be it our main channel, which is what you have to always watch us on, which is YouTube. That's Ed's favorite source, CoVA Sports TV. Hit that subscribe button. You'll get notifications when we go live. We want to get our analytics numbers all the way up through the roof so we can tell the powers that be just how wonderful you, our loyal listeners and viewers, are. So hit that like button, share button, subscribe button for us. We're also on virginiapreps.com. We're on X at 757 Sports Talk, on Twitter on that feed, or my feed at Hatfield Sports, I should say, is where we're streaming it live. Facebook, too, on my Facebook and the VA Preps Classic Facebook, and IG, Hatfield Sports 2K4. We say good morning to the man, the myth, the not really legend, who's wearing a Notre Dame shirt today, as the Irish are in action this evening against the Aggies of Texas A&M. We would have been up here earlier, but I take my dogs out, like I said. But good morning, Sir Edward. How are you on this final Saturday of August 2024? Are you still jobless?
Still jobless in terms of the coaching search. I'm actually not searching. And I'm okay with that right now, but I am not retired as a coach. Just letting it out there. I'm in free agent status. Teaching wise, in the classroom,
you're done.
Yes.
Finished, finito.
That one is done.
Forever and ever and ever. Would you say never?
Never. Well, they always say never, but I would say,
would you say
if you're
never?
going to bet, it's a good bet to say Young will never be back in the classroom full-time teacher.
Okay. Just part-time.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood.
But
we got scores scrolling across our ticker, and good to see we haven't jinxed some people like our man Benjamin Du Bois. Windsor beat Arcadia, and I got to mention we had Coach Du Bois on a few weeks ago on our show, and the young man that we talked about on the show, who is just a special young man for them. And we're talking about, and I think I have a photo of this. If I can somehow get it on the screen, I'm going to do it. He got his first carry of his career recently. They're going to do a special night for our man Cage on September 13th. So, Edward, if you can get out there September 13th, I'm not sure if I can. I'm going to try to get out there. But if I can't, you definitely can. And it's good to see. Hey, our man Super E out there wore my hits hat to Oscar Smith Hermitage. Yeah, I love it, E. I love it. He went to that game. I ended up going. I'll be honest with you. I was literally looking at the sky at about 4 o'clock, and I was like 60-40 not going to a game because it looked like it was going to have thunder and lightning. And me and thunder and lightning don't get along, as you know. I love to get in the pool. And if I get in the pool, that could be really electric. It could be too electric for me in the pool with the thunder and the lightning. So I was going to stay, and I stayed in on Friday for much of the day, Ed. I was getting, cranking out these top 10s, which we're finishing up this weekend, folks. They're all going to be up there. The top 10s, the list is up there on Virginia Press. You can get the 60 in-depth previews like nobody else brings you. And I watched about 5 games on the NFHS network, including the top-ranked team in Class 6, the Hayfield Hawks, who bludgeoned a West Springfield team that beat them in the playoffs a year ago. And I was not going to go to a game, but I ended up going not too far from the house and ventured out to Lake Taylor and Poquoson. We'll have some sound from that as the Bull Islanders took down the Titans, another pick that you got wrong. But you got more wrong in the head-to-head battle with me, which is always delightful for me, very, very frightful for you. Your thoughts before we dive into the games. We're going to go in chronological order. The Thursday matchups with a little music in the background. The Friday matchups, a little music in the background. And then we got some college football talk. We got Chuck Culpepper, who was going to join us last week, but he was in Italy for a wedding. He was covering the Olympics. We'll talk about the Olympics with him too. He's covering a big college football matchup tomorrow in Las Vegas. We get the heavy hitters, folks. I know there's other people out there doing podcasts, TV shows, radio shows. They talk about all their guests. And I'm not trying to back it, but we get the heavy hitters. We get you Chuck Culpepper, Hall of Famers like David Teal, Tim Kirk. We get you heavy hitters. And we get you the local flavor and the statewide flavor too. But and then we'll do our NFL over-unders to cap today's episode. You're not saying much over there. Is it because you're disgruntled and upset and bothered about how just yucky your picks are?
I'm letting you babble on. I mean, it would be ignorant for me to interrupt you, so I'm just letting you speak. Okay, waiting my turn. I'm okay with that. That's
your turn. Go ahead.
One of the things in sport talk radio, podcasts, even TV, one of the things that slices my hair off my head is when a host is talking, or when the guest is talking and the host interrupts, or the host is talking and the guest interrupts. And then you hear two people constantly talking and nothing getting done. I try not to do that on here because I just think that's ignorant. So I'm letting you go ahead and speak. Now, let me say some things about what you said. I try not to do that on here because lightning and thunder would be good if you were in the pool. Okay, that's when we'd want to see lightning and thunder, when you're in the pool. So when you said you weren't going out, I was the opposite. I had a feeling it was going to be a great night, and I went to couple local places, listened to some great music, some great jazz by the band, and I can mention their name. Raw Jazz is
wait, hold on, because last week you were so angry and disappointed and disheartened that I wouldn't play your clip. I can actually play. As I brought up the Peter Griffin, what grinds your gears? You know what really grinds my gears from Family Guy? I can play this morning. We can watch it together. Your night out. Was this at Nitro? Wherever you were, Waterside. I don't know where you were. Here it is. Let's play some. Get up.
There's some. See, you were worried last time about my risque video out.
It was risque. It was risque. I actually showed some people off air, and they said, "Yeah, good call by you, bad call by Eddie, Steady Eddie."
As Super E said, I think it was E, and I think it was somebody
Derrick.
else.
It was Derrick. Derrick don't.
It should have been played. The girls were covered. It was Pitbull dancers.
I'm glad they were covered because they weren't covered. YouTube wouldn't let us play it. It wouldn't have been a CoVA Sports TV decision. It'd have been a YouTube decision.
No, YouTube shows a lot worse. But last night I did it more mellow, more calm. You saw the band Raw Jazz. They were Raw Jazz doing an Usher song. So it was good evening, 3 hours of some great music. I was able to sit, relax, calm my nerves, get rid of stress, and just listen to some great music.
Wait, you're not coaching and teaching anymore. What stress do you have? And your Yankees are still in first place,
of all,
regrettably.
Every time I got to deal with you, it comes right back up. Dealing with you is like having the kid in the classroom who comes in late, wants to run to the restroom as soon as he gets in, doesn't have his computer, didn't do his homework, didn't study for the test, and he's talking. That would be you. Okay. That's how the Packer fans were partying last night.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
By the way, our man Pat Doolin, the AD at Smithfield, we got to get Pat on the show. We got to get Keith on the show. We got to get Pat on the show. We got a lot of people to go on the show. And we got Chuck Culpepper coming up. We didn't get Dave Johnson, who would like to have come on, but he's got a family day. And we totally get family comes first. You know, Mrs. Johnson runs the house, not Mr. Johnson. He did say to tell you, sorry he can't come on. Give Ed my best and tell him the Yankees suck. So I want to pass that message on. There you go. Thank you, DJ.
I love Dave. DJ is one of the best.
He's now the Tribe. Used to be with the Daily Press, longtime writer. He's now the Tribe scribe for William & Mary Athletics. And they got themselves a nice win of the night over VMI to Keydets to open up the season.
Yeah, I miss talking to DJ. He's one of the best. And I know he's upset because
we'll get him on, if not next week, we'll get him on one of these weeks coming up. Like we did with Chuck
Hapless Red Sox are floundering, and I understand.
They're not floundering. They're still in the wild card chase.
They'll make the wild card. And
that's 3.5 back. I'm not sure they're going to make the wild card. You positive about that?
I think they got a good chance. I'm hoping for DJ's sake.
Who's collapsing, KC or Minnesota? Who's collapsing? Or your Yankees or your Orioles? Again, I said your Orioles and your Yankees because you like to have two teams in the same division, like the two conferences, a la Celtics, Knicks, a la Steelers, Raiders. So you're gonna all of a sudden adopt the Orioles when playoffs come. I see this coming, even with their messy bullpen and pitching right now. It can be up and down, especially with Craig Kimbrell in the back of the pen.
I want Yankees in the American League to win it all, including the World Series. Baltimore if they don't. Let me quickly back up.
Back up. Reverse the car. Come on.
Reverse it because I'm throwing too much information out. It was a stress release last night because I knew today I'd come on, have to deal with you, which is more stress, but I'm in a better mood to do it. Everything's okay. I am a little upset, though, as I looked at the picks. Yes, I think I took 5 games different than you. I think I lost all 5.
Let's go through this real quickly off the top of our heads so people know.
I think I'm surprised by most.
You took Menchville and Jack Lowe's Western Branch Bruins. By the way, he was there. You'll hear from quarterback Derrick Cook and see some highlights later. They pitched a shutout, so score 1 for me. Ding! Bad for Ed. You went against Nansman River. That was a I'm not at Nansman River anymore. Now I've turned on him. You went against the River.
No, I knew you were going to say that. And I've got 19 text messages from Warrior fans saying,
okay, so if it wasn't that, what did you get infatuated by our buddy Dwight Vick's nephew, the quarterback Derrick Fisher at Bethel? We had Coach David Porter on the show. Was that what it was? You got blinded by that?
I told you I think River will win, but then since it was at Bethel, we talked about how close, about how true Bethel will be, to go different with you, because I'll go out on a limb. You don't, I will. And I said, okay, I'm going to take Bethel. I picked them by 1. And River crushed him, and I'm glad they did. And Darwin Barbie, I think he's listening. Darwin, my hat's off to you and the gang out there.
Hey, Darwin Barbie used to play quarterback. He was a solid player back in his day. I say back in his day like he's an old head. He's a young kid still, but
Coach Bazemore, the same thing, man. And again, it's not that I'm not there anymore. And I told those guys that has completely nothing to do with it. It's a whole nother story. And I think I have Nansman going 8-2, I think, on the season. So great win. And I'm glad I lost that game because Nansman River won it. And they won it convincingly. So that's pretty good on their part. I know they had some key new players in some key positions, but apparently they did their business. So my Warrior faithful. And again, it's just for show. Just for show. It's not that I know what I'm doing on here. Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on people. I just kind of follow along. So I lost those 2. And
what else did you lose?
Same reason, by 1 point. It's at Menchville.
Oh, 1 point. Wait. They were not 1 point decisions. Let's get this right. We'll go through, and we're going to scroll across the ticker again for folks who just missed it. Ed's trying to sell you all a bill of goods. Nansman River beat Bethel, taking nothing away from the Bruins, 46-14. So that wasn't a 1 point.
I picked Bethel by 1 over them.
Doesn't matter. They got clobbered. And Western Branch clobbered Menchville 20-0. What else did you miss against me? Didn't you go oppo on me on a beach game?
Those 2 I lost. I lost Poquoson Lake Taylor.
Well, I lost
that score.
I lost that too.
And Poquoson is good. I understand all that.
We lost Farina, Indian River to Braves. How about them double overtime?
Now, well, that was one we both lost.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the ones picking against you. I think I lost
Heritage Tab. You missed that. So you didn't lose 5.
Heritage too.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't lose that. That you just but head to head with me, you just it looks like 2, not 5. But nonetheless, your picks were simply
pathetic, putrid, awful. Pathetic, putrid, awful.
That's right. That's how bad they were. Pathetic, putrid, and awful.
Frank the Tank let me know exactly how I pick. Yes.
Yeah, we got people all over the globe watching with us. Shout out to Aaron Watford, Ari Watford's little brother, the Maury standout who's committed to Clemson. Shout out to 2-time state player dear Troy Henderson when I was watching on IG. Now at John Marshall, Manny Villegas from Benedictine. Our man Ray Williams, Infinity Photography. We love Ray. Takes awesome photos. Your badge came in, Ray. We'll get that to you this weekend. And he's the father of Jordan Williams, who we've had on our radio program before. Defensive lineman, started at Cox, Clemson, NFL. Now I think he's playing still pro ball somewhere. Ray will tell us, I'm sure. And people all over interact with us, as we saw a few minutes ago on our social pages, YouTube, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, all that. Minnesota World Series, by the way. Nick, hey, you got to hold on to the Twins, at least the Twinkies, because the Vikings aren't sniffing the Super Bowl. You got, you know what? You got a shot there. I don't think they will, but you got a better chance of that than the football team. Basketball team got pretty close to the T-Wolves. And he says USC beats LSU tonight. I don't think so. We'll get Chuck Culpepper's take coming up. He's scheduled to join us at 10:25. He's in an airport. He's on his way to Las Vegas, Nevada, where I know Ed would like to be instead of.
Oh my God!
Right now.
Oh,
but you did enough traveling.
Love to spend a week in Las Vegas.
Yeah, enough traveling for you.
Well, I'm actually looking into it, seeing if I can get some Raider tickets.
No. Oh, remind me when we do our NFL over-unders. I got to tally up how we did last year. I've got the book. I haven't tallied it up, so maybe I'll do it during a commercial break or one of our guests, one of our interviews. I can tally it up then. Unless I send it to Jack or Nick to read my scribble. Good luck reading my scribble. But I have I told you this last week. I got a great Raiders fan clip for you that really, and I hope this doesn't upset Chuck. Because, his offspring, by the way, worked for Raiders in awesome job, our man Carter. But it really just encapsulates the Raiders. I'm probably going to make you and the Thornton Clad and all the Raiders fans mad playing it, but I'm going to play it anyway, just for laughs and giggles, because I love laughs and giggles. I'm going to make you all mad. But Ed's going to get me. Go ahead.
Speaking of Raiders, in fact, I don't know if Chuck's listening. Chuck, see if Carter. I need 2 tickets.
Don't be playing that. Get me this.
Raiders at Baltimore next Sunday.
No, you're not going to that game. No,
15th.
No.
I think it's the 15th. I need 2 tickets.
We're definitely keeping you out of Las Vegas.
I got to get to Baltimore to see my Raiders.
Trouble written all over it.
Anybody else out there, 2 tickets to the Baltimore. We'll get you on the show. If you're a business, we'll give you free advertisement.
Yeah, look at you making deals, making backdoor side deals. This is the Ed Young way of.
I gotta have to. My Raiders are coming within inches of me. I've got to come and see the Raiders play, and I did see the Raiders at Baltimore about 5 years ago, and had great seats. It was tremendous. I loved it. They lost. That was when Gruden was coaching them. So I'm putting it out there. I need 2 tickets.
No. We went over this last week or the week before. You want 2 tickets. You do not need 2 tickets. Just like the people with a shot clock that want a shot clock, and you can want a shot clock and have your shot clock. I'm not saying you can't have your cake and eat it too, but you don't need it to play a game. You want it. Ed does not need 2 Raiders tickets. He wants 2 Raiders tickets. You need football to play a football game. You need water and oxygen to breathe and live. You do not need Raiders tickets. Nor a shot clock.
Let me put it out there the right way for the people out there so they understand how I feel. I need
get how you feel with your fingers. Go ahead.
I'm calm. See, this is why I had distress last night. See the stress I'm taking now, people? You feel my pain. And I did have somebody. I went to another establishment last night to listen to some more really good music, grab me a couple of slices of pizza, and had a soft drink, had no hard stuff, even though people were asking. I must have had 5 different people say, "Coach, let me buy a drink."
Yeah, we don't want you with that in your system. You're already crazy.
I told him, I said, no. I said, I'm eating pizza. I'm drinking I think it was Pepsi or whatever. I said, no, I'm good. I was at the casino, as a matter of fact. That's exactly where I was.
Oh,
saw tons of people, and went in there with the idea that I might bet a little bit, and I bet exactly.
Casino without me. Nice friend you are. Former friend you were.
Well, I knew you were at a game. I knew you weren't coming out to the casino.
And you know what? I actually went to a place that I hope will eventually sponsor the show or the IG special, steak place over there near Virginia Wesleyan and near. I won't say their name yet because I'm hoping they will. It's the very best place for steak and salmon, which is what I had. My pops had it. Steak last night over there near Lake Taylor and Virginia Wesleyan last night. It was the late birthday. He actually told me late because we had not celebrated. I've been so busy, my birthday, which was, a few weeks ago. So anyhow, we've gone through enough of the house cleaning stuff for about 20 minutes here. that it's almost time to take a timeout, but I don't want to deprive our wonderful audience out there of some of the high school football scores that transpired on Thursday night. So I'll cue up a little music, give us a little feel, little something here, and we will knock this out, the Thursday games, as we give you a little something to listen to us as we go through them from Thursday night's action, Edward, as we go across the 757. Let's give it to you here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. As always, you can interact with us, like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel on CoVA Sports TV. And it's right at 10 o'clock, so it's perfect timing for this here as far as the scores go around the area. Let's go through it, and I'll get your thoughts as we move it along here from Thursday's action in Hampton Roads. All right, scores from Thursday night. You saw in the Beach District, Kellam Knights, a winner, 34-14. They prevailed over the First Colonial Patriots. Now it's 11 wins, I believe, in 12 matchups in that head-to-head series. Elsewhere in the Beach District, the Bayside Marlins, a victorious 50-0 over Princess Anne. It was 2-0 after the first quarter, a safety, but then they erupted for 28 in the second period as the Marlins got it done with a new quarterback, Ethan Dosher. 4 TD passes to 4 different players, 7 Washington, Jelani Spears, Halim Hardnett, he's a big-time speedster, and Tyshawn Clark, as John White's Marlins moved to 1-0 before a big matchup with the Frank W. Cox Falcons. Oh, speaking of which, thanks to our man Doug Ripley supplying these numbers for us, Cox a winner 38-0 over Lansdowne. 24 second quarter points for Coach Tyler Noe, who we had on the show. Good to know Ed was not the jinx. I'm never the jinx. Ed's always the jinx. As it was Cox getting the job done to move to 1-0 in advance of that matchup with Bayside next week. Running the football, that's the specialty of Cox, much like for Poquoson, which we'll talk about from Friday's games. Max Palmerton leading the way for them. He had a couple of touchdown runs as a team, 250 yards on the ground. Also over 100 yards rushing was Tyree Jeffries, a freshman who was one of our Chicho's Pizza Player of the Week. And Ed, it is your job this morning. If you do anything else right, I'm supposed to give Chicho's a read, so remind me of that before we do bid adieu on today's program. We'll give Chicho's a little shout out and a read here today on the show. So you heard Cox was a winner, Kellam was a winner, Bayside was a winner, Green Run. They seem to always be winners these days in the Beach District. 34 consecutive for them now as they breezed by the Tallwood Lions 54-0. I thought it'd be a closer game than this, Ed, because last year I was at the game at Tallwood High School. It was a one-score game. But Kassan Farrar, the dazzling quarterback who's committed to UConn for the Stallions, he had a big night, 7 of 13, 157 through the air, and 4 touchdown passes. Also got touchdown runs from Terrence Ely Jr., and Charles Jackson and Knowledge Harrell, your Defensive Player of the Year pick on our preview show. If you missed that, go find it on our CoVA Sports TV YouTube page on the playlist, 757 Sports Talk. Ed picked him for Defensive Player of the Year. The Hokies committee had a couple of touchdown snags, including one that was a highlight reel play. And the other Beach District result was the game I was at, and you'll hear from later in the show. Coach Mark Hall of the Salem Sun Devils, they doubled up Kempsville 28-14. The game-turning play being the 69-yard pick six from Isaiah Lovgren. Willie Moore with 177 yards rushing on the ground. 2 newcomers for the Sun Devils that transferred in from Lansdowne and Grassfield, respectively, for Lovgren and Moore. And you'll hear from them later on in the program as Salem got the job done, beating the Kempsville Chiefs 28-14. Your quick reaction of the Beach scores from Thursday, sir?
Nothing really surprising. Thought Lansdowne Cox would be closer. Rest of the scores, no. I don't. Pretty much, I think I picked those the right way too. I think we both got all the Beach straight in terms of those picks. So nothing overly surprising.
Nick is still riding the Kellam 10-0 train. I mean, if they don't have to play Green Run, you might have a shot at that, Nick. But unfortunately, they do have the Stallions on the schedule. I'm not saying they can't beat them, but it's going to be tricky. And by the way, that's their next game coming up on September the 6th. So, Nick, if you get that right, Ed will buy you a steak at any restaurant of your choosing in Hampton Roads. He's already told me that as a guarantee.
No, that's not going to – 2 things. They won't go 10-0. That's a guarantee. And 2, it would not be a steak at any restaurant because knowing Nick, he would probably pick Ruth Chris.
They don't sponsor the show. Nice job of giving them a plug. And that was not the steak place I ate at last night that I think might, surpass something. You just, you're all over.
Well, if you ate there, it's okay to say their name once because we're not really advertising for them.
Yeah.
But just an establishment that you frequent. That's all. I don't frequent the one I just said. I was in there one time. They brought the menus and the water. Drank some water from my buddy Mike Stevenson. We opened the menu up. We looked at it. I looked at him. He looked at me. We got up and we ran out.
Because you didn't have enough money, probably, and because they knew who was in the building.
Didn't have any money,
anyways.
So we left, but the water's free, so we didn't dime and dash. It was just we looked at those.
You dined and dashed. Other scores outside the beach for Thursday night before we take a break, and we got over-unders coming. We've got college football talk with Chuck Culpepper. Ed wants to pick 5 games today. We'll see how we do with that. He wants to redeem himself so quickly. He's so quickly to redeem himself against me, which is not going to happen, folks. He's just, it's a lost cause here with him. Other action from Thursday night outside the beach, you had some non-district games involving Eastern District, Southeastern Peninsula teams. Petersburg blanking Booker T. Washington 42-0. Unfortunately, not a good start there in the opener for the new head man over there, Mason Williams, of the Bookers, that we had on in our summertime of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. War Hill all over Manor, 68-0. Deep Creek, we had Andre Twine on his Hornets. Purple Thunder roared 22-3 over Currituck. Remember, they had 7 giveaways in last year's loss down in North Carolina at home. They got the job done behind a stifling defense in this particular matchup. Western Branch blanking Menchville 28-0. You'll hear from Jack Lowe later on in the show. He caught up with Derrick Cook, the quarterback, and has some highlights for you. How about Gloucester? 13-2 over Kickingham. Did not see that coming as their defense picked it up in a big, big way. Indian River and Verina, Ed, 37-31. This was probably the game of the night. There was 2 double overtime games, 37-31 Indian River over Verina. The other double overtime game was Hampton over Woodside, 25-19, as Alonzo Coley nearly got a monster win in his coaching debut of the Wolverines, as Hampton got the job done. Second overtime, game-winning touchdown for the Crabbers came courtesy of Mr. Lassiter for them. And for the Indian River Braves, they got a late touchdown pass. This was pretty crazy. Late touchdown pass for Indian River. I mentioned Casey Lassiter's 10-yard touchdown run on the first play of the second OT, winning it for the Crabbers. In Indian River's case, what a game. Cam Kirby, the new quarterback who transferred in from Bayside, he launched a 63-yard pass with 1:23 to go in regulation. It was going to get picked. It looked like it went through the hands of a Verina player. Next thing you know, Braves snag it, go to OT, get a stop in the second OT on 4th and goal, and they win it. And let's shout out a freshman here. Yeah, we love shouting out the linemen. Ed, I did this on my IG live show too last night if you didn't check it out with the Hats Hits. We don't give the freshmen all kinds of love, but 3 sacks for Casey Jordan for Indian River. Brandon Carr told me he has a couple of freshmen stepping up big, but they got shut out last year, Ed, by Verina 13-0, 37-31. Let's stop there. That's a monster win for Indian River against a Verina defense that is known to be pretty doggone good.
And if I'm not mistaken, the game was at Verina?
It was up in Richmond on Messer Road. And you like to mess around on Messer Road. You did the mess around, as Ray Charles once sang.
So now you beat a team, you come from behind to beat an excellent team on their turf. It says a ton about Indian River, because I don't see Verina having a bad year. Maybe it might be their only loss all year. I don't see they won't give any more. So I got to believe.
Well, they have they have Highland Springs. They have Highland Springs into the season.
That's a big rivalry.
Big rivalry. That's not a gimme.
Yeah, that would be the only other one I can see lose. So Indian River spoke volumes that they're going to be that good. And you're talking about.
Go ahead.
You're talking about a lot of youngsters, underclassmen doing some stuff. So Indian River looks like they're going to put themselves right back in the situation that they did last year. Remember, they knocked off Green Run in the playoffs. That served notice from the beginning of the year on.
And, the thing that's interesting about that type of game is when you're down, and again, when they were down 8 at the half, you feel like, all right, do we have the versatility? I think their offense now has some balance. Kirby's got the ability to run or throw at quarterback, a little more mobility than the previous quarterback. And they've got multiple backs. Rayvon Moore can move the sticks for them. He's now the go-to back in the running game. I think this, Ed. It's like in basketball. If you can win multiple ways, if you're not a three-point shooting team, you can do this. If you're not a fast break transition team, you can do this. Indian River, I think, can win with its defense or its offense, with its running game or its passing attack. So I think that's a very encouraging sign for when they have those Southeastern District showdowns later on with an Oscar Smith, with a Kings Fork, with a Nansman River perhaps, and then when they get in Region 5A where Green Run is viewed as the favorite. But, by the way, they won last year on Dahlia Drive at the Stallions' place Don't have Jordan Harris anymore, but they're pretty doggone good, it looks like. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Point to be made. The running back in football is almost non-existent in pros.
Yeah.
So in college. High school,
everything.
In my belief, running back in high school is extremely important. Second most important person on the field on offense is the running back, if you have a good one. Indian River's got a couple. It's often said, does the running game set up the passing game? Does the passing game set up the run? Everybody in today's football likes to throw, which is what I love. But everybody always says only 3 things happen when you throw the ball, 2 aren't good. But the run game can set it up because now everybody starts building up the box, trying to block for the run game. So if you got a speedster who can get to the outside, you're picking up yards, it kind of does set up your passing game. I think high school is the hardest of the 3 to pass because of lines aren't as good as they are in college and, of course, pro. But that running game is big, and I always think in high school, if you got one really good back, you got a shot. You got 2 or 3, yeah, you're a team that looks like they can go and play in the States.
You're cooking with gas, as they say. Other finals from Thursday night's action in Virginia, high school football around the 757, or involving teams from the 757 area code. I guess is the more appropriate way to couch this. Not a way. A winner over Jamestown, 41-18. We mentioned Windsor, 35-27 over Arcadia. Northumberland, 36-6 over Surrey. Southampton, 38-35 over Colonial Heights. Essex, our number 1 team in the state in Class 1, all over Sussex Central, 58-6. And I believe Essex's starting quarterback was out in this game, so that's an eyebrow raiser. And I think that pretty much covers it here, Sir Edward.
Essex is my pick to win this single A state title.
Yeah, nice job being a copycat, since that's who I picked number 1.
Well, you picked them all before I could, so I'm a copycat on whatever I pick.
Okay. So we're going to take a timeout. We've got coming up some sound. Ed will choose how he wants to do this. We got Friday reaction 2. We're going to try to squeeze that in, if not the next segment after Chuck Culpepper, who's coming up at about 10:25 Eastern or so. So stick around. Might be an 11 o'clock hour. We hit the Friday games for you. Kind of splice it up for you on this edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We're going to hear from Elliott Duty of the Poquoson Bull Islanders, Cody Little and Carter Jones of the Poquoson Bull Islanders. We've got, in addition to them, Derrick Cook of Western Branch, Mark Hall of Salem, the head coach there, former Green Run linebacker and UVA defensive standout. And we've got Willie Moore and Isaiah Lovgren of the Salem Sun Devils. That's all coming your way in just a little bit here on CoVA Sports TV. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We have to take a time out, though, and pay the bills. Ed is going to diligently study up for his over-under picks with me because he did get one thing. He got the vote of confidence from Tim Kirkshin last week that he's going to beat me in the baseball over-under. So he does have one thing over me. I had to throw my bone. Give him a cookie.
If you don't change things, I won the football last year by 1. So,
you did not. I did not. If I don't change things, what? Change all the games I got right and the ones that you got wrong?
Yeah, you've been known to do that. You changed the things that I got right. I know it. I've got spies in good places.
You have spies in bad places too. But let's hear from some of the people that make it possible for us to do this program with you here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. And right now we're going to hear from Chichos.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
I've learned that everyone you meet deserves to be greeted with a smile. Even if it's a smile like that one. Whew. Until next visit, this is Andy Rooney for Wondering Aloud on Poolside Adventures.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back with you here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you may be. CoVA Sports TV is the place to interact with us. As Ed, we've got some more high school football to go over with all of you. Would you like to hear from the Salem Sun Devils? We talked about them in their win on Thursday. Coach Mark Hall, as well as two of the youngsters, Isaiah Lovgren and Willie Moore. Would you like to go with the players first or the head man first?
Head man first, players second. That's the way it always is.
Says who?
Me.
You the boss now? Are you the boss?
I'm the boss. When it comes to certain things, you respect your elders, young people. The older people go first, then the young people speak. The older people eat first, then the young people. Okay? Raised as an Italian, the kids sit at the little table, the adults at the big table. They pass the food around at the adults, and then it's passed out to the smaller table. That's the problem with the young people of the nation today. They don't understand priorities. They don't understand their role, but don't get me on a rant.
I won't get you on a rant. Before we do play Mark Hall and then Isaiah Lovgren as well as Willie Moore from Salem, which is viewed as the second team in the beach behind Green and maybe that top challenger. We'll go through the schedule in a second. Mr. Doolin, AD at Smithfield, our good buddy, former basketball coach at Churchland, said, don't forget to point out, well, first of all, he said, tell Ed to organize them papers. Looks like an AD's office. That's a good one there. Patty, let's zoom out. It doesn't look like an AD's office.
Yeah. I've got to put my books up and everything. Pat's observant. Yeah. And thank God he never saw my
if he saw him, if he saw your office, he would have thought it was a war zone. I had people that walked in there and thought they had gone, like someone threw about a bomb and blown up. What is that? You got Play-Doh? Get out of here!
My new addition to. And I try to put things up from my younger days. I got an Etch-a-Sketch will be put up there by next week. So,
Mr. Potato Head.
I would like to have one of those. I used to have one. I don't have one now. Might have to buy one. Hey, fans out there, if anybody can do it, since I'm retired, my money is short.
Oh, stop with the potato head. You play this victim so well. You play this victim so well.
I will put their potato head up here, and I'll put the name of who donated it to my library of my museum of children's stuff back in the day. So.
He's got some broken Crayola up there too. Also, he wanted you to know too, and this is a good little nugget by Mr. Doolin with his football. Bay Rivers District, we'll bring this up a little more later too with Elliott Duty's interview. Bay Rivers District has always been, scoffed at as we see the doggy get in the picture here.
Yeah, my
Eastern District was 1-5 outside of league play this week. The Bay Rivers 3-1 versus the Eastern District.
Ooh, that's
they were saved by Norcom. They were saved by Norcom's win over Grafton, which, by the way, it might have been a game I skipped over Thursday inadvertently. But that's pretty big stuff.
I mean, now back in the day,
only win was Norcom's 46-14, or not Norcom's 46-14. It was Norcom's 46-14 win over Grafton. That was it. That was the only one for the over the Bay Rivers.
Back in the day, That would have never happened. Number one, they wouldn't even play. Number two, it would be undefeated Eastern District. So to Pat and all those guys in the Bay Rivers, that's a job well done. And I'm not going to slight the Eastern District. I'm just going to simply say some of those smaller schools are stepping their programs up. And Poquoson's always been there. I was really neat to see Tracy Parker Smithfield puts a major shellacking on Norview with 48-0. But, by the way, did we mention York didn't play?
He didn't play, no. Blue Smoke's off. He's got Gloucester coming.
Blue Smoke is in the hopper getting ready to
Doug Pereira.
To go next week. Okay.
September 6th. Maybe if Doug Pereira gets like on a 4 or 5 game winning streak, we'll have the Blue Smoke at a football game where he can run out with the kids, and maybe he'll let you be the honorary run out of the tunnel with the Blue Smoke. That would just be like the thrill of your life. Outside of going to Vegas and seeing the Raiders play, which you're not going to do. Let's get to the football coach of the Salem Sun Devils, though. Mark Hall. Let's hear what he had to say. Then the two kiddies right here on CoVA Sports TV.
All right, I'm here with the head football coach of the Salem Sun Devils, Mark Hall. His team wins at 28-14 in what was a grinder for much of the night against the Kempsville Chiefs to open up 1-0. Coach, it's 90-plus degrees. It's hot, sticky, and it's a tight ball game going into the fourth quarter. And two of your new faces make big plays for you. A 69-yard pick six from Isaiah Lovgren, and then Willie Moore icing the game. He had 177 yards rushing. Tell me, how's it feel to win this game? Not your best performance, but you can build on this.
Win is a win, man. Regardless of how the game ended, we got the W. I won 28-14. Defense pitched to start out in the second half, and, grateful for that. We had to go in at halftime and make some adjustments really quick. Like I said, we play hard together, and I'm just grateful that, we came out with a W, and we're going into the bye week, and, we're going to fix some things, and we're going to be a better team. Yeah,
it wasn't your typical passing night. We know you're capable of much bigger output with Jason Scooter Williams and Fabian Wells, that whole crew, Kassir Patterson, and the receivers there. But I thought maybe the guy that was as good as Lovgren and Moore were, the player of the game tonight was Marcus McCoy for your linebacker. Off the edge, he had 8 tackles. You're a former linebacker, so you had to love it. A couple for loss, a couple sacks. Also had 2 forced fumbles. I think one was kind of wiped off because of a penalty. But off the edge, I feel like he was really attacking that right side, and you had an advantage in your favor there.
The guys, like I said, their tackles started getting more and more tired, man. Marcus McCoy, man, is a pure animal, man. He's a beast off the edge, outside linebacker. Like I said, man, I love to have this kid on my team, man. He played first team all region last year, the only, I believe, sophomore to make first team all region in this area. And like I said, man, he is a missing piece to our puzzle that we have. And he's only getting better and better, man. He turned it up the second half, and he played like he knew he was supposed to. But overall, man, our defense made some adjustments at halftime, and we pitched a shutout. So that's really, really good.
Yeah, it's really hard. He really did, and it's hard for Hatfield to give him McCoy praise, but he deserves it. For you guys, going into the locker room at halftime, I felt like C.J. Spence was giving you some fits with his running ability. He's a great athlete. Was that the biggest thing you emphasized in the locker room halftime? Like, let's not let him beat
for sure.
Legs?
That's the first thing I say when we're in the locker room. I say we got C.J. out here looking like Michael Vick.
Yeah.
I mean, he made some great plays, man. He's a great athlete, man. And like I said, man, hats off to, Kempsville Chiefs Coach Cherry's program, man. With everything they got going on, they are playing well, man. And, they're going to be a really, really good team.
2 more for to let you run. For this team, what's it going to take that next step? Because, you get it thrust in a couple years ago, interim mid-season or early in the season. Last year, you guys made some noise. It's still young. It feels like this is your year to make a splash. How do you guys turn this win tonight into more wins and be, a team that's talked about regionally and statewide?
Just, making the adjustments when we were supposed to do. Doing what we're supposed to do on defense, doing what we're supposed to do on offense and special teams. Like I said, we had to make the adjustment on special teams and defense. And the guys were coachable today at halftime. They listened to us. Definitely went in there with a stern mindset, stern attitude, and they came out and performed. So they took coaching.
Sure. And what would you say is unique about this particular team? I know it's just one game and you're going to learn more as you go through this journey, but what do you like most about this group here from off-season and conditioning to now?
This team has heart, man. We work well. We work with Giovanni Ruff. In the off season, man, and like I said, man, he had us in there working hard, and definitely grateful for what he put us through. And he built dogs out of us. So like these guys have some heart, man. These guys have some heart.
No days off. 1-0 start for Coach Hall and the Salem Sun Devils. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
So that was Mark Hall of the Salem Sun Devils with us after their win over Kempsville. It is CoVA Sports TV, 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We'll quickly spice in here Isaiah Lovgren and Willie Moore. They also caught up with us after the win right here. It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk. 2 running backs and also in Lovgren's case, a key linebacker.
I'm with a couple of the Salem Sun Devils newbies. We've got on the left, number 3, Willie Moore, 177 yards rushing tonight, iced the game, and Isaiah Lovgren, who gave the team the lead with a 69-yard pick six as they helped the Sun Devils beat Kempsville 28-14 tonight. Guys, first of all, it's 90-plus degrees. We had some 70-degree weather. How nice was it? Well, not so nice, but it was out here hot, steaming, but you guys are struggling, and you pulled it out. How'd you get it done?
I mean, we all just taught as a team, this is what we trained for all summer, so this won't nothing new for us.
Oh, exactly. Like, hey, Isaiah had his tug, I had my tug. That's why we call money team.
Yeah. Fourth quarter, let's talk about it. It's tie game. Your pick six. It's, I guess, a screenplay. What did you see on it? And take me through it if you can.
Oh, so what I saw basically, the snap. So I just dropped back into my hook curl basically. Then I saw the quarterback roll out. He tried to throw that mug up, and I was like, oh, I gotta go get that. Ran up, caught that thing, and started hauling butt down.
Glad you kept it clean for us, Willie. When the defense makes a play like that, how much does the offense kind of get spruced up as well? It wasn't a typical passing night, which you guys are capable of having a much better output, but it felt like you got stronger as the game progressed in the fourth quarter.
Man, we was hyped, man. Once they made that play, we knew that we had to keep it going. Coach came up to me and said, Willie, ice it. And thanks to my offense, thanks to my line, we got it done.
For both of you guys, what's this type of win do? It's I think, a kind of a character-building win. You guys hit a battle through some adversity. It's the heat. The defense made some takeaways. It wasn't your prettiest game, but there's work to do, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely going to watch film, get back into it. But for a first showing, I think we did pretty good. Some nicks and cramps we can fix up. But overall, I think it was good for the first showing.
Yeah, I think it showed, some things that, like he said, definitely that we have to work on. But it showed that we also knew how to fight through adversity, even when we didn't expect it. So we just got to take this, and we got to get better for next week and weeks after that, because we know what we want this year.
Sure. Lastly, for both of you guys, it's sort of a multi-pronged question. You're both new to this school. You coming in, Willie, from Grassfield, Isaiah, you coming in from Lancetown. Give us how you fit in, what the coaching staff's asked out of each of you, and then also give me an update on some schools next level. Looking at you both, what you would bring a school to the next level in your eyes.
Me personally, the school, I love it. The culture here is great. The coaches expect me just to be an athlete all around. In general, yeah.
They expect, they told me, hey, Willie, we have a good line for you. Hey, man, we want to see you carry the rock. So that was a big thing for us. And like we said, man, we know what our goals are. Yeah, never bad to run behind that big 4-star left tackle for either one of you guys. Hey, Isaiah Lovgren, Willie Moore, congrats on them. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.
All right, so you heard from Isaiah Lovgren, Willie Moore of the Salem Sun Devils, as well as their coach, Mark Hall. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Edward, Salem's got the bye week. Then it's Lancetown, who took a shellacking at the hands of Cox, 38-0. And then they will play Bayside, First Colonial. Very good chance they could be sitting pretty at 4-0 when they go to October and take on Coach Hall's alma mater, the Green Run Stallions. That would be the game of the year, dare we say, first week of October in the Beach? Yes, no, maybe so?
Salem Green Run?
Yeah, October 4th.
Yeah, if both should be undefeated at that time. I think most of us, you and I especially, have said they probably have the best shot of knocking off Green Run. And with all that being said, watch Green Run win 40-0. Who knows? Again, we're dealing with high school kids, high school mentality. I personally think yes, but at the same time, I'm also feeling somebody else from the Beach may step up and get Green Run. As I said last week,
you were high on Cox. Well, yeah, you were high on Cox. Maybe you are on something there.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. And we're talking about Salem a lot, being right behind Green Run. Let's not overlook Cox. I think they have a ball club built that can do some things. And again, it's a team that very rarely makes dumb mistakes and beats themselves. So they very rarely have an off game, in other words. So it'll be interesting. But right now, Green Run is definitely in the driver's seat.
Yeah, they really are. And again, 34 in a row in the district. It's hard to top that. That's a pretty big number when you look at it, big picture in the city there. So yeah, you have to really be doing something right if you're going to knock them off. And it starts with the defense, which we saw some teams do some big things on defense. While we wait for Chuck Culpepper, who will be joining us here momentarily, we hope, from the Washington Post, to break down the big weekend of college football. Just sent him the link. I know he's at the airport waiting for his flight. I don't know if he's landing in Vegas or what's going on, but we did communicate with him this morning. He actually reached back out to us. While we wait here, Ed, would you like to, while we wait, go through some of the Friday results?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's some more what's going on. So right now, from what I'm gathering, I am 3 picks behind you.
If I have to, I got to go back and look and see. It's on VirginiaPreps.com. You could just log up there and scroll through our picks and
I
see.
remember my password.
It's free. This week was free. You don't remember my password. You want to come up with excuses.
Hold on.
Free.
You're doing VirginiaPreps.com.
It was free for the first week. That article was free.
My favorite word, free. You're doing free.
Free.
The miser guy that you are, the CEO in charge of the moolah. You open it up free to the entire state.
You know who's watching on IG? I see he just logged on, so I hope you don't embarrass him. I know I'm not going to embarrass him. It's Mark Stufel, your former office mate at Nance.
Oh, man, Mark
baseball
Stufel.
Coach. State championship baseball coach, right? When he was there.
You've got to go back.
A diehard Cleveland Guardians fan who are back in first, holding on. What a comeback they had against the Royals this week. What a job by them. I was happy for other reasons, but anyhow, good job by the Guards.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to Yankees and the Guardians for the American League title. It's going to be great. Mark Stufel, people, if you want to know who this guy really is, look up Manager Goes Off. It was from
he didn't go off
years ago. I wonder if you can find it. Remember I sent it to you? I said this reminds me of Mark Stufel.
Earl Weaver? You talking about Earl Weaver?
No, it's the minor league guy for the Braves. He was crawling on the ground. He threw the grenade. The rousing back as a grenade.
Oh, that was the guy for the Richmond Braves. Yeah, Wellman.
All the pieces.
Yeah.
That was Mark Stufel, I think, in his 5th game of coaching high school baseball.
Well, we have Chuck Culpepper ready to join us here after we take a quick commercial break and hear from the sponsors right here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, subscribe. You're getting your fix for high school football, college football, or NFL football over-unders, and we interact with you on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, VirginiaPreps.com, all over the web with all of our loyal listeners that have followed us over from our radio days to podcast days now. But right now, we have to take a time out, pay some bills, or at least the people at CoVA Sports TV that help power this show, helping us pay these bills. And to do that, we're going to hear from a couple of those sponsors right now, Edward, including Pain and Gain Sports. We'll be back in just a moment.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the gain.
At CHKD,
what is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better. And it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and the evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
All right, back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to CoVA Sports TV. We have a special guest with us, Eddie. He's one of the very best in the country when it comes to covering all kinds of sports, whether it be tennis, golf, the Olympics, which he just got back from. as he was there covering that for the Washington Post, and he does college football too. He is the one and only guy who cut his teeth here in the 757 from his days at the Suffolk News Herald and Suffolk Sun of the Virginia Pilot, the one and only Chuck Culpepper. Chuck, good to see you. You've been a world traveler more than my colleague Ed Young, who's gone up and down the East Coast this summer. You've been in different countries. You've gone to weddings. You've covered the Olympics, and you probably don't get much sleep these days.
I don't know if it's good sleep, but it's enough sleep, I think. Yeah. I've been wandering around all summer, and I'm at JFK Airport right now, and I'm getting ready to go to Las Vegas for the USC LSU on Sunday. Not bad.
Not bad. I want to ask you about that. You see my co-host is wearing Notre Dame, so he's going to ask you about the Fighting Irish, I'm sure, and their former coach, Brian Kelly, who leads the Tigers against the now Caleb Williams-less Trojans, coached by Lincoln Riley, in a very fascinating matchup on Sunday. But I want to go to the Olympics. You were there. Just tell me the experience to be at the Olympics. I know you've covered other Olympics in the past, but this year, the Olympics there in Paris, everything that you covered, what kind of was most fascinating to you? We had some wonderful basketball games to finish up on the men's and women's side with USA bringing home gold. But even more than the basketball, I think the sports like track and field and other things that are not your mega sports that get the attention really shine in this type of setting. How about for you?
I think maybe the most interesting thing about it is that they took the most beautiful city in the world. We could argue about that, but that's what I say. But and they mingled the Olympics with that city. In other words, there wasn't a complex outside of town where most things occurred. There were things that occurred outside of town, but the heart of it was right in there with their famous buildings and monuments and architecture and mingled right there with it. And I think that had an effect on both television and in-person viewers that was very powerful. I think it brought back to light one of the oldest elements of human life is that we all like to observe beauty. We like to look at beauty, and there you were watching these sporting events with backdrop being, Invalides, Napoleon's tomb, or the Grand Palais or the Eiffel Tower. And it was powerful in a way that I didn't expect, even as I did expect that it would be a good Olympics, but it was a great one. And that's what I think separated it.
Good deal. And before I let Ed jump in here now, I also have to ask you, because I saw you put up a picture on X or Twitter about the astonishing capabilities of the waiters in Paris, France. How about just some of the food places you checked out and things outside of the sporting, just the whole experience away from your coverage standpoint for you? What was it like?
They got this deal, those waiters, where they pick up like a whole bunch of chairs at the same time, and because a lot of the seating out there for restaurants is outdoor. That's part of the life there. It's part of, you're supposed to watch life go by and sit at your cafe with your wine, and and that's part of the essence. So there's a lot of chairs outside, and when they pick them up and bring them in, they have this sort of athletic feat that I don't understand. The one guy will have a ton of them on his back. And I caught that guy there, and I showed him the picture, and he liked it so much that he had me text it to him. But that's right there on a boulevard whose name I never can pronounce. I can spell it, but it's one of the centers of sort of early evening and late night human life, where you can just sit and watch people go by for hours and hours. It's glorious.
Yeah. And you could never do that if you tried 100 times.
I have trouble with one chair. And that's absolutely amazing how they would do it. And Chuck, I was going to ask you, first of all, congrats on coming on, and I appreciate when I heard Suffolk Sun brought back memories.
Me too. Wow.
And anybody and to start at the Suffolk Sun, Suffolk News Herald, and now look what Chuck is doing is amazing. And your work is fantastic, Chuck.
Thank you so much.
When you out there in France for the Olympics, a couple of things. On the personal side, what was your favorite dish? Because I'm not real big in French food, but I love the French atmosphere. Probably will never be in Paris. And number one. Number two, though, what was the best event for you to cover, the one you look forward to the most or caught your eye the most when you were there?
I would say, as far as food, it's not my very favorite cuisine either, even though it's my favorite city. It's a funny dynamic there, but they do and this came up in that movie that had Meryl Streep in it, where she played Julia Child living in Paris, but they do incredible things with fish. So I had a couple of, fish. I don't know if it's the rich in butter or whatever it is, but that's what stands out the most, I think, from this particular time. And then as far as events go, I think what maybe struck me the most is the Algerian boxer with the big controversy going on about gender, and certainly it was one of the big things talked about at the Olympics. But my job in that case was to go to Algerians. Many of them live in France. It's the largest diaspora in France, and of course, it's France once took it back in a certain point of history. So that's the background of that. But I didn't really know how strongly Algerians would support her, given that she was controversial and was kind of an outlier in ways, and they just, to talk to them about it was very powerful, because I was there the night they had the boxing at Roland Garros, and she was in the semifinals, and they got behind her in a way that was, it really struck me as very powerful and very emotional, and it told us a lot about sort of the meaning of being a nation set against when maybe you see that people from other nations are attacking one of your own.
Yeah, really good stuff there. Chuck, let's dive into college football now, because it's here. It was here last week with the game in Ireland that saw Georgia Tech upset Florida State. And there was not a lot of marquee games last week. You had Nevada almost as a 4-touchdown dog beat SMU, and you had some scares the last couple of nights with an NC State game against Western Carolina, and in Colorado with Deion Sanders, who remains a big story nationally, against North Dakota State. They eked it out. But just the whole landscape right now. We know about NIL and the transfer portal. And the big thing that I want to hit on, and Ed can probably follow up here, is the playoff now with 12 teams. And we've seen this on our level and it's statewide with high school sports in our state, where they've expanded playoffs. Years ago, you were 8-2, 9-1, you wouldn't make it in the playoffs. In college football, you lose that first game, you're done. What's your feeling on the playoff? Do you like it, the 12-team format? Does it diminish some of the regular season? Does it put more spotlight on it? What's your feeling on how this is going to change just the whole feel of the sport as we begin things with a lot of marquee matchups today, with that, of course, high noon showdown at Eastern with Georgia, Clemson, and of course the one you're seeing tomorrow with LSU, USC, among others?
I find the 12 to be just right. I think I would have found the 8 to be just right also, which is kind of, you can't say both of them are just right, I guess, but the 12, I do like that idea of those first 4 games that will feed into the next games. I think it's just right for determining a champion. I do wonder about how many games these teams are going to play, and whether, the wear and tear is going to be considerable. I know it's going to be considerable. How much is it going to weigh on the season? Are we going to get to January 20th now? January 20th, when the final game will be in Atlanta, and what's going to be left? And how much is it going to be an issue that somebody got hurt along the way? So I worry about it in that regard. While at the same time thinking, that is, as far as determining you remember when we used to vote on who would be champion for years and decades. We used to vote, and this, people always thought, well, the game's being ruined for this and that reason, because it's not the same as it used to be. Well, it used to be that people would vote, and I was just thinking with Notre Dame playing Texas A&M, that back in 93, 94, when they had that controversial vote at the end, Notre Dame or Florida State, and Notre Dame was playing Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl at that time. And so this matchup for tonight brought me sort of back to that memory of how things were when Notre Dame had just beaten Florida State like a couple weeks before in this monster game that we had. And then, Notre Dame lost to Boston College right after that. So we docked the voters docked them and gave Florida State the national championship that year. Now with this playoff, I think we lose sight of the fact that we don't have that junk anymore. And we had that junk for decades and decades. So I think it's moved in the right direction. 4 was better than a vote. And 4 was better than 2, which is what we used to have, one BCS title game. And then before that, a vote. And now 12, I think, is better than 4, although I worry about the wear and tear.
And Ed, you're happy because it means your Irish can lose 3 or 4 games and still be alive.
We're not losing 4 games. A game or two. I'm a little nervous about tonight, Chuck. Let's start right there. Notre Dame, a lot of hype going into Texas College Station with Texas A&M, who's not getting a whole lot of hype.
Right.
I feel, and I think on my picks, I took A&M in the points. Am I crazy? Am I trying to wish the Irish to win it?
Oh, you mean by taking A&M in the points?
By taking A&M, right?
You can. It's like I know this feeling where you can win either way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is what I've been known to do.
He's on to you, Ed. He's figured you out real quickly.
Yeah.
It takes long.
But Chuck has done it too. See, I can tell Chuck has done it too with his.
I've done it too. I've done it. I don't bet, but I've done it in predicting. Predicting things. Yeah, you'll feel better, even though if you. But I do think, boy, this is interesting, isn't it? With this is where the transfer portal actually brings some interesting things to the sport, where you have this quarterback from Duke on one side who's transferred to Notre Dame, and this coach from Duke on the other side who's moved to Texas A&M. And what I think about in those circumstances is how closely I always would love to be in the film rooms. I'd love to see like what little tiny traits they're noticing in people that might help them make strategy. So you figure if you coached a guy at quarterback, now you're against him. Maybe you know a few things that are really, really intricate. I don't know if that's true, but I've always been fascinated by what must be going on in there. So that's, to me, one reason that this game is quite compelling. And Notre Dame in that secondary is fantastic. So I think Notre Dame also, with its veteran presence, good experience there to handle that crowd at Texas A&M I think they're going to be able to do that. I don't know if they'll win, but I think they're going to be able to. I do think they're going to win, and I do expect them to handle the crowd pretty well.
There you go, Ed. Good start for the Irish, Chuck says. And you look at the schedule, there's a couple of games that could be tricky, but you never know. You guys could just rise up to the top 5 by, say, mid-October.
Well, and my other point is that is and you guys kind of alluded to it a few seconds ago, Chuck, in the past, if you lost early, first game or two, it could be deadly for you for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But if you were going to lose, it would be better to lose early than to lose that one game late.
Yes.
I think with the 12, it takes that away for the most part because some of the slots are already going to be given by certain champions and whatever, leagues and whatever. I still feel you're going to see an abundance of SEC teams and probably or Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be the feeling that any at-large berths and the way they set it up was like that those in the know are figuring, well, we're going to have to get number 4 from the SEC. We can't give number 2 from the AC in there. Your feelings about that?
Well, I think that's right. And I do think one thing the committee, I think the committees have been terrific. I really do. And I know that's not what you hear normally, but I think the best thing about them has been they've done something that used to frustrate me even when I was a child, how people didn't take into consideration very much whom you had played, the schedule strength. It seemed like, just your record, if it was spotless, then you got consideration for the national championship. That was long ago. Now, I think the committee, even when I'm trying to think of, there's a year, the Ohio State, Michigan, 2 years back, Michigan wins the game. It's their game, which is always, of course, the last game of the regular season, but Ohio State still gets included in the playoff over body of work and whom it had beaten. So I think that idea of a slip up in the season costing you dramatically. Another one I can think of is TCU some years ago. That might have been the same year, when they lost the Big 12 title game, but still got into the playoff and then all the way to the final. So I think that idea of the slip up costing you dramatically is is diminished somewhat, and but I still think it leaves room for this sport to have the best regular season among sports, which it always has for that reason, because all the game, each game in the chain matters so much. But I still think there's room for that, even within this new construct of maybe letting in a 2 or maybe even a 3-loss team that wins a conference into this 12-team group.
A few minutes with the fine columnist for the Washington Post, Chuck Culpepper. Read his work online, WashingtonPost.com. Go pick yourself a paper up as well here on CoVA Sports TV. It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like and share. Plus, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on Facebook, IG, Twitter, or X as they call it, all over the web as well. Chuck, two-layered question for you, sort of a two-part here. The first one is, and you're in the business of storytelling. So as you go to Las Vegas for LSU, USC, a matchup we don't see very often, very compelling in a lot of ways. I mentioned earlier, no Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley trying to get over the hump. He didn't quite do it at Oklahoma. He was close. LSU, Brian Kelly, this is a big year for him coming from Notre Dame. Which to you is the bigger story, win or lose? And I know this is what you think about this going in and as you write your column after a game. LSU win, LSU loss, USC win, USC loss, and then to follow that up, aside from the playoff, aside from the off-the-field stuff, NIL transfer portal, what about teams, players? You know, Michigan's got a new head coach now. Harbaugh's not there anymore. Alabama's got a new head coach. Saban's not there anymore. What are some of the storylines you'll be following most closely as we go from August into September and then October?
Well, I believe LSU winning and USC losing would be the loudest story. One thing I think that doesn't get talked about enough is how really, really good Brian Kelly is. Some of the other stories about like how he's gone from one place to another, often in controversial ways, gets more attention a lot of times. But I remember I called up his first quarterback way back from I believe his Central Michigan days, and just talking about, he said, I expect him to succeed at every stage he enters because of how extremely detailed he is. And that, I think if LSU were to win this game, it would kind of set them on a path to be, considered way up there for even with the tough SEC schedule, for playoff consideration already. And, I think the sport's often really colorful when they're really good. So that's part of it. And then if USC were to lose, it would kind of be noisy there too, with how it's gotten over the last few years and how those honeymoons, as we used to call them, have gotten shorter. And I love the element in this game of two quarterbacks both replacing Heisman Trophy winners. Caleb Williams off to the Bears, Jaden Daniels off to the Commanders, and I believe both these backup quarterbacks won their bowl games last year in impressive fashion. So that gave momentum going into this. So I'm really excited about the matchup in that way. And as far as which I think we're all just going to look at Alabama all season. We're going to just look at what's happening there. And it's almost as if like topography itself got changed in Tuscaloosa with who's not going to be standing over there on the sideline, throwing down headphones once in a while. I'm not saying he did it often, but ranting on occasion and look over there with that worried look. And we're not going to see that anymore. And I think I'm going in 2 weeks to their game at Wisconsin. And I think Kalen DeBoer had, no matter what they pay you, a lot of guts to take that job, and a lot of confidence, a lot of, very appealing confidence to take that job. So I think that's where even though Harbaugh left and Moore is at Michigan, and of course they've got Texas next week in Ann Arbor. That's another early season colossus. But I think we're all going to be looking even more so at Alabama during the season to see what happens there.
Yeah, I'll miss Nick Saban on the sidelines. I know he's doing TV work now for ESPN, but throwing headsets and going crazy and snapping at reporters. It's kind of like my co-host here, Ed Young, who was a high school basketball coach for 30, 40 years, and he won 500 games, but he used to snap at referees and throw things at reporters like me, and now he's not coaching anymore. So I'm worried, Chuck. I'm very, very worried, Ed.
They always look out of place when they're not coaching anymore.
They do. Yeah, they start wearing Notre Dame jerseys, and they're all over the place.
Yeah.
But Chuck, I make the point, though, I'm retired as a teacher, but not a coach, and I'm just a free agent waiting for the right deal. That's where that is. And the only thing I would ever throw at anybody would be at that guy as much as possible, because he can get under your skin. I would not do it to the kiddies because it's high school.
Right.
And sometimes I have to let the referee know they're not on their game.
Right. But he did coach at Quinnipiac as an assistant, Chuck. I'll have to tell you when we have more time. And well, actually, you're getting ready for your flight. You have time real quick to tell the Jim Calhoun story when you went up against him at UConn to Chuck before you finish up with your last question?
Oh, wow.
Well,
go ahead.
I was assistant at Quinnipiac, Northeast Conference Division I. We're playing UConn at the Hartford Civic Center, jam-packed, probably, 12,000 people. It was every seat taken. We're winning. Little Quinnipiac, because our head coach was tremendous in scouting. We knew everything about our opponents. And we usually had an early lead when we'd play a Boston College, UConn, St. John, Syracuse. We'd have an early lead, and then the floodgates would open. We had an early lead on UConn. Jim Calhoun gets up, I think it was 6-0, walks onto the floor, tells the referee, give me a bleep timeout. Our guy had the ball, had to go around Calhoun. So we figured T. So our head coach is going ballistic because the referee blows a whistle and he says, timeout UConn. And our head coach loses it. And the referee says, technical. We thought, okay, he's going to give it to him. He gave it to our guy, our head coach, who lost it. We had to tackle him because we thought he was going to get thrown out. They proceeded to go on a 25-2 run. I think they had 4 guys that were pros. 2 of them were like first 5 picks. And I was sitting there to the assistant. I said, well, what the heck did Joe think was going to happen? We're not beating UConn at the Hartford Civic Center in front of all this. And he went in the locker room at the end of the game, destroyed the locker room because he was so mad at what happened. But you figure we were that guaranteed game. Remember, we get money, they get a guaranteed win.
Yeah. That tells you whose state it was, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was on the floor, and he should have had a tee. And I think he wanted one to kind of get fired up, but they didn't give it to him, and it was ridiculous. But I figured, okay, that's one of the masters at work. No wonder he gets what he can get. So we have that on there. Well, Chuck, when the thing I wanted to see too with college football, and you mentioned with the 12-team playoff now, we take away people voting for number 1. We take away, and I kind of think 12 is good too, because we get hype on top 10 lists. So 12 could be good. Now 13, 14, 15 are always going to complain, just like number 65, 66, 67 in basketball. Yeah. It's always going to happen. I think if you put every team in, somebody would still complain. Yeah. But I do think this is a way we can get it. It's going to be on terms, I think, how the matchups are going to happen. There's no reseeding. I think that's where the next controversy, complaints, screaming will come in terms of the matchups. Because nobody's really talking about that now, because I don't even know if it's all figured out. Well, is it going to be this champion against this champion or whatever? But that's where I think the next problem is going to come from.
And, screaming is a big industry. You can't stop the screaming.
I try to tell this guy that. When I'm screaming at him, he's in the pool scaring the kiddies and the ladies. Why are you screaming at me? Because you're going to get arrested or should get arrested.
Well, Chuck, always a pleasure having you on the program. We look forward to getting you on in the future. And again, if anybody has any questions in the future for Chuck Culpepper, you can always send it to us and we will pass it along to him, be it on the sport of college football or anything that he does. A lot of great column work on the tennis, the golf. The tennis, man, no Djokovic, no Alcaraz in the U.S. Open. Now both getting knocked out. Pretty interesting. And some of the other sports that he covers for the Washington Post. Go pick up a copy and read his work. Always a pleasure. Enjoy the time in Las Vegas. Safe travels, and I will talk to you down the road.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, Chuck, when you get a chance, when you cover Notre Dame, See if you can get me a jersey when nobody.
You got one. You don't need another one.
It's a hockey jersey. I want a football.
Yeah. Well,
all right. If anybody can do it, Chuck has that way about him, and they're not going to miss it. They got a million of them. And they got more money than Jesus.
Yeah, you want him to get arrested and steal it. He wants to get you in trouble, Chuck. This is what I deal with. Yeah.
No, I don't want to get Chuck in trouble.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Chuck, have a good one. Thank you so much.
Have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
So one and only Chuck Culpepper, such a fine columnist. And did he drop on us? Did he drop a topography? That's a great word. He dropped a topography.
He's not. If you didn't know him and what he does, you'd never guess sports writer. He is so calm. His demeanor is so easy.
And
he
read
would
his
be
work.
perfect
If you
in
haven't
France.
read his work, he does terrific work. And it's been very
And the thing with Chuck is he's right down the middle. He doesn't jump to either side. He doesn't get flamboyant or whatever. He writes what he sees. He writes what he feels. And I think that's what makes him one of the best out there. And again, we're blessed when we get some of these guys because they could easily be doing something else. When you're sitting in an airport, you think you have time, but the other thing is you're worried about the flight.
Trust me, I know.
You have to do. And Chuck was gracious enough to come on here too. And he's a good dude. He's a good dude to talk to. And I can see him sitting outside in Paris, legs crossed, just watching, finger on his chin, watching the different people coming to eating that fish dish or whatever they have in Paris.
Fish dish.
I couldn't get into French food. If I was over there, I got to get me a Philly cheesesteak somewhere, some good chicken. I can't eat all the fish every day. I mean, that's a big meal. I understand. Now I can do the French wine. Okay, the red wine, chilled. I can do that one, but I don't know about all that fish.
Didn't know about all that fish. All right, we've got more high school football talk with all of you. Like, share, subscribe to CoVA Sports TV on YouTube and interact with us here on the program. We do have a couple of technical snafus, so apologies when we don't come back as swiftly today. We're trying to iron those out, but we have a couple things that we will hopefully have situated in the future.
What happened to Jack? I heard rumors he's going to be doing another show too. Did he dump us? What happened with this guy?
Jack didn't dump us. Jack is, as you know, a very loyal, dedicated, hardworking youngster who follows
that's how I know him too.
Who follows the University of Virginia very closely. And they are in action today. I thought about getting Greg Medea on. No relation to the other Medeas, but we've had Greg on the past on our radio side of things. We might have had him on the podcast once last year. I forget. Anywho, UVA is in action today in Charlottesville, and I understand he is going to be there as they take on the Richmond Spiders at 6:00. And as long as they don't get bit by the spiders, he might interact.
Tell you what, UVA. That's not a gimme win. Back in the day,
if you watched NC State the other night, my goodness, a ranked team against Western Carolina. There's been a few of these head scratchers. There's going to be an upset special today. I will give you one before we sign off today. An upset special.
I got a small one. Last night I was sweating watching TCU and Stanford.
You like that?
Because I got all the other games right. I said, okay, TCU will win by 30 points against Stanford.
You didn't get all of the games right because you missed on.
Who did I miss on Thursday night? College, not pro.
Yeah, you missed some high school football. I was going to say you missed some high school football games. You did
high school, but I didn't miss any college last night. And the other one that was almost a disaster was Wisconsin, Western Michigan.
Yeah, the Badgers. I said it on the IG thing last night. The Badgers feel good about the Big Ten with Southern Cal and UCLA coming in and the schedule they got. They got Alabama on deck, as you heard Chuck say he's going to that game. Ooh, it could be really, really dicey for them coming up. But we're going to take a timeout. We're going to hear from some of the sponsors that make it possible for us and come back with more here on CoVA Sports TV. So stay tuned. But right now, Edward, we're going to hear from, I know you love to get you that bacon cheeseburger from Dairy Queen. Here's what Dairy Queen has to offer.
Oh, man.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Now for a limited time on the $7 meal deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar, IV hydration and vitamin therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Football is back. We are in week 1 of VHSL football on Thursday night as the Western Branch Bruins take on the Menchville Monarchs. Western Branch starting out with the ball here. Derrick Cook looks for a man. The pass is tipped and picked off by Elias Graham. Just the start the Monarchs were looking for. Their quarterback, Chance Janis, rolls out to the right, finds a man complete with Daria Adams, one of their best assets offensively and defensively. They go to tip the field goal, but J. Murray Parker blocks the field goal. C.J. Frazier picks it up, and he takes it way down the field, and he'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 1-yard line. However, a flag will call back a couple of the yards, but the field goal block stands, and this one handed off to Makari Brown Porter, and he fights his way into the end zone for the first touchdown of the game. Chance Janis for Menchville looks for a man, finds him complete, Ja'Shawn Simmons, who makes a couple defenders miss and fights into Bruin territory. Derrick Cook looking for a man, and that ball is picked off by LaDaria Adams. And Menchville defense seemed to be rocking and rolling, giving him some momentum. Cook with a chance to redeem himself here as he's looking way deep. J. Murray Parker, and that ball is completed for a Bruin first down to give them all the momentum they needed, as this one is handed off to Kynick Baines. Has tons of room as he walks on into the end zone. And then that's when it all started falling for the Bruins, so a little sportsmanship after. This one handed off to J. Murray Parker, who easily walked into the end zone. Now how about this play? Bad snap, tough to see, but bad snap. Derrick Cook recovers it, rolls out to the right, throws it up. J. Murray Parker seems to be just in the exact position he needed to be, as that's a touchdown. What a way to recover the bad snap as the Bruins go into victory formation here as they win this one 28-0 over the Menchville Monarchs. I'm Jack Lowe, CoVA Sports.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 757 Saturday Sports Talk with the Coach Ed Young. I am Matt Hatfield. You saw some highlights from the Bruins of Western Branch winning at John B. Todd Stadium with the one and only Bill Nettles in the background. He was there at Lake Taylor last night for my game. So you got a double dose of Nettles. Jack got him, and I got him last night. But the Bruins got themselves a 1-0 start, Edward, and they got a big one with Benedictine on deck.
Yeah, big win, and I think big win because I picked Menchville by a point. Thought maybe they're surprise team of the Peninsula District. The game was over there, so I went against the Bruins. The Bruin crazies will continue to hate me forever. But Jack got a chance to talk with quarterback Darren Cook for the Bruins after that 28-0 win. Let's see what those two had to talk about here on CoVA Sports TV.
All right, I'm here with quarterback Derrick Cook after Western Branch's Week 1 victory over Menchville, 28-0. Derrick, how did it feel just getting back on the gridiron tonight?
Tonight, it was a fight, and it may not seem like it just from the scoreboard or the stat column, but it was a fight. We had to get used to being on the field again in an actual game, not just a scrimmage, not just practice. And it takes days like this to learn that we got to play up to our potential and not play at the level of other teams.
Definitely wasn't your best first half of all time, but the second half definitely bounced back. What do you do just to stay loaded and bounce back like that, have a good second half?
We got to stay focused in the first half. If we stay focused in the first half, there's no need to bounce back. But also, the second half, we saw that we left points on the board first half, and we had to make up for it somehow.
Yeah, the defense shut out Menchville and giving up 0 points. How much easier does that make your job as a quarterback when your defense isn't giving up any points?
It makes my job so much easier. It gives me a safety blanket that I know, even though we make mistakes, we have somebody that can back us up.
Yeah. Now, I've got to ask you, the bad snap over there, bad snap, you run after it, you pick it up, you throw it to J. Mark. What's going through your head when chaotic plays happen like that?
During that play, in my mind, I was like, fall on it. But I was like, we had to make a play. We got to make a play so we can get some momentum going on our side. And I already knew coming onto the sideline, I was probably going to get something during film.
Hey, that's all right. You guys ended up scoring the touchdown. Final one for you now. You guys take the victory today. You guys go back to school next Tuesday. You guys get back to practice, and you host Benedictine for your first home game of the year next week. Just what's the preparation going to be like? That's obviously one of the best private schools around the state.
Hard work. We've been working on it all off. We've been working on it all off season. You can ask any of the players, the coaches. It's hard work. We work hard this week. Then all the mistakes we made, they'll clean themselves up on Friday.
So there you have it. That was Derrick Cook of the Western Branch Bruins talking with our Jack Lowe on Thursday night, after their victory over the Menchville Monarchs. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. We've got our over-under NFL picks coming your way in just a little bit here on the program. Ed, Western Branch, you said it last week that you didn't pick them this week, that they could surprise a little bit in Class 6 Region A, where you figured they're probably jockeying for one of those final playoff spots. But good win for them out of the gate. A lot of new faces. Cook now a senior playing for his pop's final ride, if you will. And it will get tougher for them, beginning with Benedictine, who is a state-level team and a lot of talent. And they came to Western Branch last year, whipped them pretty good. I was there for that game. So we'll see if they can get the revenge that's on their minds from last year to try to get themselves to 2-0. And there you have it. Your reaction?
Yeah, it was stupid when I picked against them, because I am the one that said in preseason there seemed to be a lot of talk about Western Branch losing a lot of players. They're going to really dip 500 if they're lucky. And I'm thinking, no, that team's going to win 7-8 games. They're going to be in the mix. And I think they can do something in the Region 6 playoffs. And then I go and pick against them in the first game. Now they do have, at Benedictine next week. And I'm probably going to say it right now. I'm probably going to pick Benedictine. So, and if I lose that, tremendous. I'd love to see Western Branch started out at 2-0. They got some really good kids in their skill position. I think a lot of it has to do with the line. Traditionally, they usually have a big line. They lost a lot from last year. And if that line develops quickly and holds true to form, I think Cook's a very good. I think he's an underrated quarterback. I think he's very good. They're going to do some. They're going to do some things in the Southeastern District.
And our man Derrick chiming in here. The Bay Rivers District will add Gloucester next season. Is the district losing a school? That is true from what I understand, Ed. The Bay Rivers is adding the Gloucester.
I don't think they're losing anybody.
Well, they aren't. However, I will tell you a rumor I heard last night and floating around the press box. And you know how rumors are. Rumors get started. You hear rumors all the time. You hear rumors that Ed Young's taking the Lakers job. He's taking the Knicks job.
Oh, I heard where I was at last night. I heard three rumors.
Three prominent schools. You hear rumors he's taking the Lakers job, the Knicks job, the Booker T. jobs, Ocean Lakes jobs. But anyhow, the rumor is that Lafayette is going to the Peninsula. Now, I have not spoken to anybody at Lafayette, Kyle Neve, the terrific athletic director, or Andy Lynn, the outstanding football coach, or someone over there that can fill me in. Maybe some Lafayette fans can. But I have heard that they are possibly going to join the Peninsula District, which could be good for them. I don't know if that's going to be the switcheroo or the trade, if you will, but it makes you wonder, are we going to start getting some district realignments, conference switches like we do with college football? I highly doubt to that level, anywhere close to it. But the fans, they get into that a little bit, I know Ed would love to reorganize the districts, and if he did,
I would love to have that opportunity.
You think his office is a mess? My gosh, it would be.
I would like to sit down one time and realign.
It would be nightmarish. Oh Lord,
realigned district. And again, a lot of people got to understand something. When it comes to region 1 through 6, that's based on school population.
Right.
Okay. There's nothing you can do about that, and I think they do it every 4 years.
Something
they
like
see
that.
where everybody falls, and then you're in a 2-year, I think it's a 2-year pattern. For those 2 years, you're in that region. Slipping districts is an individual choice, I believe, by the school. In other words, Gloucester determines for their athletic program where it'd be better fitted for Bay Rivers. Mm-hmm. They make application to Bay Rivers. Bay Rivers votes on it. They're in, they're out. I think that's how that process goes. Switching districts, but region is based on population. People say John Marshall should be playing 6A basketball. Well, you can't play one region in one sport and your other sports are in another. It's strictly by population. Some people still believe it's by how good you are. Some people think 6A is all the great schools and 1A is you're horrible. Has nothing to do with abilities to play. Back in the day, you were allowed to move a single sport up or down, mostly up. It wasn't a lot of downs. You can't do that anymore. Whatever your population is, high school 9 through 12, boys and girls combined, that's the region you're in.
Yeah, the old peanut district be brought to you by planners. You like planners?
Yeah, I remember peanut district. Well, I wonder how many people out there can name the original peanut schools.
Do it, Dante's Boxing Talk. Ed's challenging you out there. Name the original peanut district schools. I can't even do that because that was before my time.
Peanut district school.
What do they get if are you going to buy them a steak dinner, or are you going to buy them a
why we stuck on this buy people steak dinners thing?
Because you owe dinners that you haven't paid up. You owe people dinners that you have not paid up. Let's just be honest about this.
You name me 6 people that I owe.
I don't want to say he's like the guy that you told was going to come on our show, that I was all excited for him to come on in the summer, and he didn't stiff us. He just got busy. Seth Greenberg, who I understand at one point, he probably paid it up. He owed Mark Packer of ACC Network a dinner. But you owe people dinners that you haven't paid up. You always say winter buys. You haven't bought Willie Gauze. If Willie Gauze is out there listening, I might see him later today if I go to John B. Todd for the Denby-Granby game. Willie Gauze does security. Now, you've seen Willie, former kicking coach. You said you winter buys, and you still have not bought Willie a dinner. So until you buy Willie and me, because I'm the one that am going to make this dinner come to fruition, both of us a dinner, you're a welcher. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Well,
you're a welcher.
The only one I know I owe a couple dinners to.
Willie Gauze. You beat him.
I think I owe Willie one. Okay, I got one win against Willie.
That's right. You say winter buys, and you didn't own up to your own words. You're the one that made those words.
Yeah.
I know Kenny Harris at Green Run beat you the next round on a half-court shot from the late great Ashley James, and he didn't buy you a dinner. But Kenny Harris, he needs to start buying his wife some dinners for crying out loud. I don't know what he's doing. So anyhow.
Yeah, well, Kenny's like that. He'll buy you dinner, but he'll eat it himself. And Willie, I thought Willie would definitely win, so that's why I said that. What does Derrick have going on? Brute would join the Tidewater District. What Bruton's in what are they in the Blackwater District?
No, Bruton's in the Bay Rivers. Where is he? Where are you?
Black River.
You're sleeping right now? Tidewater District right now consists of, we're really going into weeds here. We're going into weeds here, Ed. Tidewater District consists of, boy, I had it now, I lost it. Give me a second. I'll have it for you folks. Bear with me. I'm dealing with Ed Young, which really messes me up. Charles City, Carver Academy, King and Queen, King William, Matthews, Middlesex, West Point. Derrick, you're not that far off on that. I could see that happening. But I don't know that it will. Here you go. Dante says, I was a young kid. I know it was Forest Glen, Smithfield, Southampton, John Yates, Kennedy, Suffolk High, and Sussex Central. Only ones I know. He might have hit them all. You owe Dante Boxing Talk a dinner. Who's he missing?
No, Dante's still too young. He's missing Northampton out on the east.
Were they in that district, really?
Northampton was in the
Yellow Jackets?
Yes, they were in the original Peanut District.
Weren't they on your basketball schedule last year? No, wait a second. They played Maury last year.
No, that was 2 years ago when they had the big fella, the 6'8".
Yeah, they were on your schedule 2 years ago. Yeah,
2 years ago when they lost in the state quarterfinals, semifinals.
No, I think it was the region semifinals. I had to look it up, but they were a state level team. I think we had them number 3 to begin the year.
They had a point guard that was pretty doggone good. We nullified the 6'8" kid. We really can't.
Who's now at Virginia Wesleyan, Braden Justice. And by the way, will we see you this year at the Virginia Wesleyan team camp, which is in a couple of weeks? I'll be in football mode. I'm going to try to get over there one of the days, though. I don't know if I'll be able to make all 3 or even 2 of the days because I got football duties. But, Dave Macedo does an awesome camp. We used to broadcast it for many, many moons and years. on radio over there at Virginia Wesleyan's Batting Center with our man, Mr. Macedo, and his staff. I know DeJuan Tucker and his assistants Marcus Curry, been working diligently getting 50-plus teams for that. So are you going to make an appearance even though you don't have a team at the moment?
Are we doing a podcast from there? If we're making a podcast from there.
If the powers that be allow us, I don't know what the connectivity capabilities and all that jazz is, but
who's supposed to be working on that? The powers to be. Come on, let's go. Let's go, Nick.
Maybe Ed Young
got to be out there more. I've had people ask me, and I keep telling people this: if you get some advertisement and then get us out there, our powers to be are really reasonable guys, and they will listen.
Get you one of your one of your restaurants and establishments that you.
I've been working.
And they could sponsor a singular show. It could be the show brought to you by blankety blank.
I've been working on a couple because
Virginia Wesleyan with the Mullins.
Yeah, we got to do our show. We used to do the radio show every year from that camp, so it would be great to get the podcast out there so we can get seen a little bit more.
And honestly, we've taken the show on the road before to VCU Siegel Center. All we really need is my headset, microphones, and a laptop and internet connectivity. And away we go.
That's what I'm saying. We don't need a whole lot of razzy dazzy stuff. As long as we have the connection, we could do this from phone booth somewhere if they still have phone booths.
I don't do that. You sitting in a phone booth with you would be very.
We got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in a phone booth with you. I would have a straight. They'd have to put me in a straight jacket and send me to Bellevue. I'm not doing that mess.
Speaking of phone
booths, not
booths,
enough to see you in the pool.
I tell you what. Speaking of phone booths, sometimes you get in a battle with Lake Taylor in a phone booth. It can be bad. But last night, the team that took it to the Titans in their place in Norfolk, it was the Poquoson Bull Islanders. You always say the coach goes before the kids. I'd like to hear from the kiddies first. Are you okay with that? Are you allowed to switch it up?
Well, if I say no, you're going to hit the kiddie button anyways, especially.
You're right.
Okay, but Elliott Duty should be going first. He's one of the best in the state. But let's go ahead. Let's switch it up. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state out of 170.
Wait, what 2 are ahead of us?
I don't remember it either. I just saw the rating somewhere. They said we're number 3. Now, remember, when we started out, we were nobodies. We gone from that in a year's time to number 3. We're going to be number 1. The podcast I've watched, and there are some great ones out there. Nobody better than us.
All right.
We give it in depth, and we give the real us.
All right, good deal. Let's hear from Carter Jones, a lineman who I gave a lot of love to last week on the show, and Cody Little, who was terrific, both sides of the ball. It was just tremendous. 6 tackles. Here's what they had to tell us after they beat the Titans at Hank's house in Norfolk on CoVA Sports TV at 757 Saturday Sports Talk.
I'm here with a couple of Poquoson Bull Islanders after their win over the Lake Taylor Titans on the road, 21-6 in Norfolk. On the left, we got Cody Little, had 6 tackles, 3 for loss, about 40, 50 yards rushing as well. And Carter Jones, the big lineman, had a couple tackles for loss, paved the way up front for the running game tonight. Carter, let me start with you since you have the microphone in your hand. To come in this place, a school that's got a lot of tradition, 3 state championships in the last 12 years, and get this win, hard fought, on the road by 2 scores. What's it say about Poquoson football and how you're building?
It says we have a lot more in us. We have a lot more in the tank, and we have a long season to go. It's going to be a marathon this year, not a sprint.
Cody, tell me about run behind those guys like Carter and Hollingsworth and that whole offensive line. 94-yard drive in the second half. It felt like that was the defining series of this game. What was it like getting those tough runs between the tackles tonight?
It always feels great getting a tough run, breaking the tackles, and getting my big guys like Carter and all them running behind them. It's like running behind the Great Wall of China. It just feels safe. But everybody blocks well, everybody does their job, and then we get big drives like that, and it just shows the work that we've been putting in over the week.
Defense tonight gets 5 takeaways. You get an interception in the fourth quarter. How big was that? I heard a couple of assistant coaches talk about they had some 15-yard penalties. We kept our composure. You knew they were an aggressive, quick team trying to get in your heads. Was that a big emphasis tonight?
Yes, sir, it was. We knew when we came here that they were going to be talking. So we knew we had to keep our mouths shut and just play football, let our football do the talking, not us. Mm-hmm. So that's what we did tonight.
Carter, for you, tonight you guys had that scrimmage a couple weeks ago with Ocean Lakes, a Class 6 school. This is a Class 3 school. You guys are in Class 2. You got the state playoffs last year. How much did these battles help you for the Bay Rivers, and what's your hopes ahead in the postseason?
They help our points a lot. I do know that. From a player's perspective, though, it's hard staying on a bus and, like 3 hours to Riverheads last year. That was a challenge in itself. Yeah. So we definitely like getting these points and just the competition, and it helps us get ready for the teams we're going to play in the playoffs.
Before we finish up with Cody, your teammate just affectionately called you the Great Wall of China. That was a kind compliment. You're getting some recruiting attention. You've got an offer from ODU this summer. Tell me about what you think about them, any dream schools, and what's it like to begin this attention as only a sophomore right now?
It feels amazing. It feels like I have a very bright future, and I just have to keep working and keep my head up. And it, honestly, it's just
Sure. You're cool to get the ODU offer. Any schools you hope to hear from maybe that are showing interest right now? Or that was a pretty cool offer for you, right?
I really want to hear from UVA. My grandpa played there. Clemson is another big one I want to hear from, and Syracuse.
All right, good deal. And lastly, Cody, for you guys, this is a big one, but it's just step one. What do you take from tonight, and how do you build moving forward?
We take from tonight the hard work that we're going to have to put in, and we're just going to keep building on that hard work, keep playing our wing tee football, pound the rock, run the clock. That's what we do best. So we're just going to keep improving that and see where it takes us.
They pounded the rock tonight to move to 1-0. Cody Little, Carter Jones, thanks so much. All the best.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So there you heard it from Cody Little and Carter Jones. That Poquoson running game was revved up. 5 takeaways. You'll hear from Coach Duty in a second what he had to say about the game. But how about the youngster there, the lineman? I told you he could be a player of the year candidate on defensive line. He's really, really strong on the offensive line for them, Edward. And got the ODU offer. Grandpa played at UVA. I know he mentioned Syracuse and Clemson too, but come on now. My man Dan Trevino takes the best pictures in America out there. And our man Jack Lowe was at the game today. You better do some talking to the UVA folks. Maybe get that offer to him. He could be a guy that gets double digit and be really one of the best recruits in the entire area as well as state when he is a senior.
And he practiced his interview because he came off with 3 big cliches right off the bat when he talked about it's a marathon, not a sprint.
That was a good one.
It was just the one game. We got a long way to go.
He was well-schooled.
He was well schooled in the interview process. And it's kind of a funny interview. You saw the big dude, the Wall of China, and then you saw the little guy who looked like
his last name is Little. He just
walked up and just jumped in the interview because you don't have his gear on or whatever. But a tremendous runner in his own right. Poquoson has a program. They have the tradition. They got Elliott Duty. They're going to be involved in most games. They stepped out a little bit. Lake Taylor just has that tradition. Fanfare, and those guys were again prepped correctly. You're going to hear a lot of trash talk. That's what Norfolk kids do well. Been involved in that, understand that. And to play at Lake Taylor is a little ominous to play there, and the fans are right up on you. And I'm sure Poquoson heard enough, but they held their ground. They did a great job with that. I really thought that was a 14 to 20-point win for Lake Taylor.
No, you didn't. Don't lie, because here you go telling your story is wrong. You had 21-20 Titans on the picks, and I had 27-17 Titans.
Let me let this cat in the bag. You do what you want, I'll do what I want. When I do picks,
you and cats are dangerous, but that's no story of our time. Go ahead.
I love cats.
Go ahead. That's why you keep your dog.
When I do my picks, a lot of it is fanfare picks. I'm not sure I'll explain that. When I'm behind the scenes, I'll usually tell, like, example, I picked Bethel to beat Nansemond River by 1. I wanted Nansemond River to win by 50. Nothing against Bethel.
You don't work and teach there anymore. Why do you care?
It doesn't matter. Those are guys I know, kids that I had in classroom. I still want to see them win. What happened to me?
You don't root for me to win in anything I play.
What the hell am I going to root for you to win in anything you play? Number one, you can't play.
Yes, right now, the best thing you do football Xbox game. I've been undefeated in that game. Go ahead.
You're good in the pool, and I can't believe we can't find a water type pool type company to sponsor you as the Fool in the Pool segment. It is tremendous. Okay, and I would like to do one where we set it up where you jump in a pool just as lightning hits, and see you get hit by the bolt of lightning. And there's a big flash. It would be traumatic. Podcast TV. Why can't we get that?
Why do you wish bad things upon me?
Well, I mean, you'd be like a cartoon.
I'm not a cartoon. I'm a real person. That's my lawyer calling you.
Could be.
No, it is.
It would be like a cartoon. Like I'll tell you what it's like. My hero cartoonist, Wile E. Coyote. He gets blown up, sliced, cut, demolished, vaporized, whatever, and he always comes back to try to get the Roadrunner. It is the greatest example of fortitude, effort, motivation, whatever you want. Wile E. Coyote. That's why he's my hero. He is the best. And to see you get it, we know you would come back the next week in another full segment. We'd make sure you weren't killed, I would hope. And if you were, it'd be heck of who the heck is going to replace you? That would be the hard part. So,
Wile E. Coyote is your hero.
That he's my cartoon hero.
Yeah, we got to slice that up for next week's show.
Wile E. Coyote is my hero in terms of fortitude. That's what I got.
Yeah. Well, after all of that, we heard from Carter Jones and Cody Little. Would you like to hear from a guy that does not consider Wile E. Coyote his hero and Elliott Duty?
Let's get Coach on here. Yes.
All right. We now say howdy to Coach Duty on CoVA Sports TV. See what I did there?
All right, I'm here with Poquoson head football coach Elliott Duty after his Bull Honors win it 21-6 here over the Lake Taylor Titans on the road in Norfolk to open up 1-0. Coach, you and your staff just talked about with your kids about what it is to win this game against a school with 3 state titles in the last 12 years. You've got to be thrilled the way you performed and executed a 94-yard drive in the second half and salted away old school football.
Yeah, we executed well. Beginning of the game, we came out and executed. They made some adjustments, of course, and then we made a few adjustments. And I thought second half, offensively, that big drive, and then the defense down there on that one stop when we turned the ball over. But that was the key to the game there. We didn't let them – we gave them some momentum, but then we kind of squashed the momentum.
Yeah. 5 takeaways tonight. We'll get to your defense in a moment, but just spoke with a couple of your selfless leaders. And Cody Little had the big pick to finish it up, 6 tackles tonight, 3 for loss, also ran the ball well.
Yeah.
And Carter Jones, one of your linemen, just they really sacrificed for each other. That line tonight, they don't get the glory in the pub, but they were the difference, weren't they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got good push on the offensive line and then defensive line there at the end. You know, those big guys playing tonight both ways. Carter played a lot of snaps, a lot more than we wanted him to play, but he sucked it up. And to be a big guy like that there in the fourth quarter, he was still getting a push on the quarterback.
You know, defending Lake Taylor with their twin veer and what Coach Hanksler and his staff do is not easy. They have the pitch, They have the trap, they have the dive, all these different things. You had 12 different players make multiple tackles tonight. 7 different defenders had tackles for loss. Was it just about collectively getting multiple hats to the ball?
Their assignment football. You know, you got to do your job, whether it is the dive back or the quarterback or the pitch man. We blew one and we gave up a touchdown, but we adjusted. The kids adjusted, and they flew to the football. I thought they played real well defensively.
When you come into a place like this, hostile environment, and you played some tough teams in the Bay Rivers, Lafayette's, you know, a big rival, other teams, you know, is it about keeping the composure? Because tonight you didn't have as many costly penalties. You didn't have the giveaways, the mistakes. Was that something you guys harped on all week in practice?
Every week. It's not just this week. It's every week. You know, that's one of our don't beat yourself. That's what we can control, or one thing we can control. Yeah. So we preach discipline, and we preach, you know, playing within yourself, playing smart football. And tonight the kids did.
2 more for you. You know this can be an intimidating environment. How big was it to jump out in front of them, not them start off with the momentum and get behind the crowd? Was that crucial?
Yeah, I think it was. Come out with a big play and get a touchdown and then get a turnover and punch one in again. So that was a big momentum for our kids.
I think it was Nathan Curry was that recovered on the kickoff return, if I remember right. He's a big play for you. 14 before you blink. Lastly, you scrimmaged Ocean Lakes a few weeks ago. We talked a classic school. You played Class 3 school here. How much do you feel like the growth is coming, and it's so essential with what you've got on deck and what you guys want to accomplish to get back to the state playoffs?
You know, that's it. You know, it's a marathon, and the kids learn, and the kids learn how to compete, and they battle each week in the Bay Rivers, and then come playoff time, we're ready to roll. We're ready to play.
An impressive workmanlike showing by Coach Duty's Islanders. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
So there was Elliott Duty after his team's win. They've got Grafton on deck, Edward on Thursday, September 12th, then versus War Hill, September 20th, and against Tab, who got themselves a nice win over Heritage last night. Coming up after that to close out the month of September. It is CoVA Sports TV here. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got NFL over-unders coming up right after the break, and we'll go through those rapid fire style. But a couple of the quick games from last night's action to hit on. Kings Fork 36-6 over Churchland. Mighty, mighty strong effort for the Bulldogs with Jamel Mackey catching a couple of touchdown passes for them in that one. You also had in the ball game over there involving a Suffolk team over Hampton, Manson over a 46-15 winner over Tyrell Grant. 215 pass, 2 touchdowns, 2 air. all over. Permanent 44-6. Brandon Nesbitt, Ajay Curtis, both ran the Rockets. Travis Johnson up after the United States. Look at 20 games. Got the job done for the drama. Smith. Heights. In addition to that, result from Friday night, we had Lockwood, Australia, Warwick all over Grassfield, 35-0. That front four was dominant for them. Saeed Williams, the quarterback, run on that. Meanwhile, 30. Yeah, go ahead. You want to jump in?
I had to jump in. I hate to interrupt you, but your sound is going in and out. I missed half the scores.
You missed half the scores.
Yeah, it sounds mumbled or ruffled. Like,
is it sound okay now?
Yeah, right there is good. Right there is good.
All right.
The Warwick Grassfield. I upset one of the coaches for Grassfield.
Oh, our buddy Rod Johnson.
Yeah, Rod was mad as Hornets with me when I picked them not to get any points. I just said, hey, I think War Hill defense is almost as good as they were last
year.
Warwick's
defense.
I mean, I say Warwick. Yeah. And it came out that it was what I think I almost picked that score right on the nose. But again, I don't relish in those kind of picks and somebody losing whatever. Again, I do it for the media's sake, for the show, and to let people listen. If my picks fire people up, bulletin board material, I'm amazed because I don't know most of those scores anyways. A lot of time I just pick flipping a coin, but I don't relish in that, and Grassfield they'll right the ship. They'll be okay in the Southeastern District.
Quickly, because we have to be off the air before 12 noon here. A couple quick thoughts on the other games I'll hit on with you. Smithville 48-0 over Norview. You had Norfolk Academy 23-6 over Potomac School. Atlantic Shores, which you saw right here on CoVA Sports TV, a winner over Roanoke Catholic 50-6. Micah Lance 302 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. That Smithfield score caught my eye. I think they're legit. And by the way, I saw the youngster Kermit Buggs' son, Kyle Buggs, had a touchdown pass in that game early on. So that was an eyebrow raiser, I think. Maybe not to the level of, say, a Indian River Verona on Thursday, but caught my attention. How about you?
I picked Smithfield, but not 48-0. I didn't see that coming. But again, hats off to Tracy Parker. We had him on earlier in the preview show about his squad, and I think this is year number 3 for him, and his fingerprints are all over that program, and this could be a year they can really get it going. The running back, forget his name. I picked him as I think offensive player of the year in the Bay Rivers, the running back. If he did well, I know Buggs did fairly well.
Kenye Martin, I've got him with 58 yards rushing, but Buggs had over 100 passing, so they didn't really need him last night against Norview. It was more of the defense and the pass game sprinkling in, but they'll need him in some games upcoming, that's for sure. All right, so that pretty much covers the Friday action. Not a whole ton. There wasn't as much excitement, drama, late game, heroics like the 2 double overtime games with Hampton edging Woodside and Indian River rallying to beat Verona. We're going to take another time out here on CoVA Sports TV. NFL over-unders, they are coming your way next with yours truly and the coach, Ed Young. It is right here, 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe. Interact with us. Tell us what you think, what you want to hear, what you want to see on the program. But right now, we're going to take a quick time out, our last one, before we finish up with the NFL over-under picks right here on CoVA Sports TV. Now this from AstroTurf.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better. And it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Oh, this is a good one. You'll love it. What do you call an alligator detective? An investigator.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
All right, no investigation needed here, but it is time now for the NFL picks with yours truly, Matt Hatfield, and the Coach Ed Young here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk as we close out this edition of the program. So let's get you the football rock and roll music here to get you rocked out here on the program. All right, we're going to go in alphabetical order, Edward, and I'll keep track of these. We got to go through them rapid fire style. We got 20 minutes, so we got to get this done fast. Arizona Cardinals. We start with the best, right? 5.5 for my guys. Over or under for Kyler Murray and the boys. That means they have to go 6-11 to go over. Under means 5-12 or worse.
I'm going to say Arizona goes 2-15.
2-15? What are you trying to say?
4 wins.
4 wins. So that means under. I'm going to go over because I'm a homer, and I can do that. And I think they can even have a bad year and finish 6-11 and just get over. Atlanta's 8.5. I'm going to go first. I love this as an over. It's a lock-a-rooney. Take it to the bank. Put it all in the bank. This is an over. They could get home field or a second or third seed. Love the Falcons this year behind Captain Kirk Cousins.
Bad division. Kirk stays healthy. They'll get 9-10 wins. Over.
Right, so you agree over. Baltimore Ravens, 10.5. Our former producer, AJ Risser, loves the Ravens. 10.5 is a big number. What do you think for Lamar Jackson and the gang?
Oh, boy. Tough. One of the toughest division, maybe the toughest division in football. 10 wins. I think they win the division. I'm going to say over.
To be different from you, I'm going to say they go 10-7, 9-6, and just go under. They had home field last year. I think some injuries could pop up, and big loss on the defense. Patrick Queen, they're going to miss that guy a whole lot because he meant a whole lot to that defense. Now playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, their divisional rival. Buffalo Bills, 9.5, has their window closed, Edward, as a Super Bowl team. I still think they could find a way to maybe get to 10 wins. 9.5 is the number. I'm not as high. I'm a little bullish on the Bills, but why not? We'll go for the sake of this particular segment over 9.5 for me. How about you?
Over. I picked the Bills the last couple of years over, and I think
you got to take it. Carolina at 4.5. This number is super low. I'll take the bait and say they go 5-12. Get me over.
I think they improve. I think they ain't going to show a whole lot, but I think 5 wins is reasonable.
And they could finish third in that division. I think the Saints, not to prelude here too quickly, I think better second year for Bryce Young at quarterback, new coach too. Chicago's Bears, bear down, Chicago Bears, 7.5 for Caleb Williams and those flashy receivers. Will the Bears get to 8 wins or more? Yes or no?
Well, a lot of fanfare on these guys. Williams are treating him like he's going to be the savior. The division, it's a topsy-turvy division. I think Detroit wins it. People picking Green Bay too. I think they win easily. I think 8. I go over. They can win 8.
We both had over last year. They didn't get to that mark last season because last season they finished under at 7-10. But I'm going to go over with you. I think the Vikings, sorry, Nick, are going to be pretty rough. America's dream, because I refuse to call them America's team. We're going to say them in a moment. We have the Dallas Cowboys in a second. But first we have Cincinnati and Cleveland, the Ohio teams. 9.5 for the Bengals. What do you say, Ed?
Let's see. Cincinnati. Well, again, a tough division. Again, now you got to really worry about staying healthy. We talk about healthy because if they lose Burrow or a lineman, they're down. And I don't want to pick up on injuries or think there's going to be injuries. You just don't know about that. I think they win 10. I'm going to say over.
Give me over. I'm staying over here with them, and over 7.5 for our buddy Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from Bethel High School and the Brownies. Our buddy Bob Lanham's Browns. If you're out there, Bob, Sideline Bob, one of our photog favorites. Give me over because I think the Browns at worst should be 8-9 in that rugged AFC North. What says you?
Over.
All right. Dallas Cowboys, America's dream, 9.5. Give me under for them. I've got them finishing 3rd in the NFC least division. And by the way, if Trey Lance gets thrust into competition for them at quarterback, our buddy Gary Obenauer, my longtime health coach here, former Great Bridge basketball coach, he was disgusted, as I know other Cowboys fans were. Give me, if he comes in for Prescott, look out. Under for the boys.
I got Cowboys at no worse than 2nd in that division behind Philly. Give me Cowboys at 10.
So Ed Young has picked his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th over. He's taken over with everybody. So everybody's going to win 20 games in his book. Denver Broncos are 4.5. That's such a low number. He's got to go over there for Sean Payton, the coach mastermind. Give him some juicy fruit. Give him some GD Goose juicy fruit as he does the onside kick ambush in the Super Bowl with the Saints. He's not coaching Drew Brees and the Saints anymore. But people are high on Bo Nix. They can go 5-12. Give me over. They're bad, but they're not that bad.
I got to go over because they're in a division.
He's taking everybody over. What fun is his name?
Used to be the best division in football. It's no longer that. It's Kansas City and everybody else. And they can easily win 6. I said they can win 6 games. 7 games.
You are so crazy. Now I know you're going over here. The Detroit Lions.
Over.
9.5. You heard it here first, America. Book it. Remember this. Clip this. The Super Bowl next February 2025 is going to feature the Detroit Lions and the New York Football Jets, Jets, and the Lions with the ostrich egg-eating fighter himself, Dan Campbell, with Jared Goff at quarterback. They will rise to glory and capture the Lombardi Trophy. Give me over 9.5 for the Lions because they'll finish ahead of the Green Bay Packers, whose number is 8.5. And guess what? They'll go over 2, but they won't go to the Super Bowl.
I'm going with. I could see them in the Super Bowl over the Jets. Jets ain't going there. But I want Campbell for one reason. He makes sweet love to his wife. He said it. I didn't see it, but he said it. So anybody that's doing that, taking care of the wife, they got my vote. So Dan Campbell, 11-12 wins.
It's fake. So you're going over for the Lions. You're going over 8.5 for the Pack as well?
Packers.
You haven't picked an under since the Cardinals. You're taking everybody over except my team. You are purposely just annihilating this game.
All right, give me. Oh man, I don't.
You can't go backwards. We don't have enough time for you to go figure out your bad test paper that you wanted to cheat off of.
I'm going to say the Packers will finish 2nd behind the Lions.
Okay, will they win 9 or more games? Yes or no? This is not a
hard. Yes, they're going to win 9 games.
It goes over, everybody.
Over.
Houston Texans, 8.5. I know Ed's going over 8.5 for the Texans.
Over Texas 9.
Over for Houston and C.J. Stroud. You won't have a sophomore slump. Oh, here's another over for him. He's got the Indianapolis Colts at 7.5.
No. They're under. They're definitely under.
Will Garlick.
Sorry, Will.
I'm going over for the Colts. They're well coached. That guy.
Would you pick? Wait a minute. You're telling me I went over. You've gone over on everybody also.
Yeah, literally joined us. Yeah, if you heard that, Dan, you probably had to turn it off for the missus. What in the world are you listening to? Yeah.
Dan understands.
No, he doesn't.
Yes,
he has no idea where you're heading, nor does half of our audience. Jacksonville Jaguars. They were my pick to win the Super Bowl last year. How'd that work out? Not too well for me. That was a bad pick. 7.5. This is too low for them. They should win 8 games. If they don't, fire Doug Peterson. I don't care if he won 12 Super Bowls with the Eagles. Give me over 7.5 for the Jaguars. My man Robbie Bruner. Go Jags.
Now, see, I wanted to go under with them, but I think they're a 500 team, so that means 9 and 8.
Over.
Yeah, or even 8. They're still over. I'm not the one to pick those numbers, so I'm taking over.
You're just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, thank God you are doing your office inventory. No kidding. All right, next on the list. Oh, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. 11.5 for the defending Super Bowl champions with Derrick Nottie out of Ocean Lakes High, Patrick Mahomes, and Taylor Swift's boyfriend, Travis Kelce. What says you of Andy Reid, not Wilford Brimley's Chiefs, not Chefs?
It's my pick for 3-peat. Therefore, they're going to win well over 11 games. Over.
Under. They're going to go 11-6, just like Mahomes last year when out of bounds you didn't get your cover in that Sunday night game against the Jets, and you were so mad throwing things.
No, I can't. I should pick them on. I should pick them under. But they're in a weak division. They're probably going to go 6-0 in the West.
Fleming beat Hidden Valley 90-0 last night. That's crazy. That's unbelievable. We got.
Why do they call them Hidden Valley?
The Colonels, the KFC Kansas City Chiefs Colonels. The Las Vegas Raiders, which reminds me, we teased it earlier. We're going to play this on the show, and we'll do it now as we go to our multi-view. If I can get to it here, I want to put us in a view box where we can see this, both of us. Let's see if we got this here. If I can play it with us, I might have to put it in a different view box for us to play this the way I want to play this. I know we can do it. We just got to find it. Here we go. Ed, watch this. This is classic.
The NFL, you know your Raiders. I can tell right here. How are you feeling with the team this year?
We're not going to the Super Bowl. I already know it.
We got a realistic Raiders fan here. This is odd. This is the first interview I've ever had like this. The Super Bowl chances are not good, but what is it going to take for the Raiders to have a successful season, you think?
Not to get arrested.
Okay, that's definitely an interesting one. I would agree with that. Yeah, getting someone in prison, that's going to hurt the chances.
There you go. Don't get arrested for the Raiders. 5.5. Will they go over or under? Guess what? I'm going to do the Ed Young. They're going over. Over 5.5 for the Raiders.
They're going over, but the youngster was right. I would have stopped the interview right after he said we're not winning the Super Bowl. I can almost tell something else was going to come out of his mouth that wouldn't be good. Yeah. So I'm going to say the Raiders definitely going to win more than 5, but I don't see them winning more than 9.
Okay. Next up, the Los Angeles Chargers with a hardball. 7.5. Is that that can't be the number. That cannot be the number. 7.5 for the Chargers? That number's got to be inaccurate. Listen, that is the lock of the century. Over. They're going to win 8+ games with Justin Herbert. Come on. Justin Herbert? This isn't Herbert the pervert from Family Guy. This is Justin Herbert with Mr. Harbaugh coaching. They're going over. Take it to the bench and Falcons pick.
I had the Chargers going with 10 wins, so that's the definite over.
Definite over. I agree wholeheartedly with you. All right. The Rams, 7.5. I like this one too. Give me over.
I think Rams finish second behind 49ers, which should be enough to get 8-9 wins and in the playoffs, yes.
That's Ed's 39th over out of 30 NFL teams.
Already got one under.
No, 2. You have the Colts as well.
Oh, okay.
The Miami Dolphins are 8.5. He has everybody in that division winning at least 10 games, I believe. But Tua in the Dolphins with Tyreek Hill, who come to the Sportsplex every year now, and Waddle. I'll go over. Give me a nice 9 wins for Mr. McDaniel and the Fins. Over.
They have a chance to win the Eastern over Buffalo, which, again, puts you in a 9-10 win category.
And the Jets? Okay, you're going to go over?
Over.
Yeah, no shock. Knicks, Vikings, 5.5. Over or under, sir?
5 is a lot for Minnesota. They're just in crumbles.
Under. Sorry, Nick. The quarterback situation, the rookie hurt, and I'm not crazy about Sam Darnold, who needs to go out with Carson Palmer, and they can have a Darnold Palmer, ba-ding-ding. I'm not going with them.
They win 5, so I'm going to say under. Sorry,
Nick.
This
is third under. The Patriots at 4.5. I tell you what, they're mighty pet. It's a low number for Gerard Mayo, the Kickingham High alum, and that squad. But Ed, I got to go under. I think they go 4-13 or 3-14. I think they might have the worst record in football potentially.
Yeah, I think so too. I wanted to say Carolina worst record in football, but I think it's New England. They're going to retool that whole thing. And Coach Mayo, being from local, I hope things work out for him.
We got to roll through these quickly. New Orleans Saints 6.5. I go under for them. I think they're the worst team in that division, worse than Carolina. What about you?
Yeah, 6 wins at tops.
Wow, we've got 3 straight unders for Ed Young. It's breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Do we hear 4 straight unders? The Giants 5.5 for Brian Daboll and the G-Men.
They will fight Washington to stay out of last place. Yeah, I'm going to say 5 wins.
Give me over. I think they get to 6. I think he's too good of a coach to not to have that fall apart that bad. The Jets, I love them. Super Bowl. I think they'll lose the Super Bowl to the Lions, but give me over 8.5. Edward, the Aaron Rodgers figure?
Keep Aaron Rodgers on the field. They're going to get at least 10 wins.
All right, he's going over. What a shock. The Philadelphia Eagles Eagles. 9.5 is the number for them. I know you've got them winning the division or so, I believe. So that's an over for you, right?
Absolutely.
I did not like how they finished last year, and I think what's going to happen is they get off to a bad start. They fire the coach, they get the interim guy the job, and he gets on a hot streak to get the wild card, but it'll finish them at 9-8. So give me an under on the Eagles. Sorry, all you Philly fans, Philly fanatics. Pittsburgh, the Steelers at 8.5 for Mike Tomlin. He of Denby High School, William and Mary fame. What do you think about 8.5 for the Steel City guys?
Keep the streak going. They're going to have a winning season. I'd say at least 9 wins.
He goes over. I'm going under. Sorry, Mike. This is the year you don't get over 500. 8-9 for you. I got to pick someone in that division to go under just by a smidge. That schedule is tough later in the year. That's the reason why. They'll get off to a good start, tough schedule. That first game with the Falcons could be a good steal, though, if they get it. Niners, San Francisco, running NFC champs under the direction of Kyle Shanahan. Brandon Ayuk is in fold with C-Mac and Debo and Brock Purdy and George Kittle. The Niners at 10.5. What do you think?
That's a 12-win team. That's Super Bowl bound.
So much talent. But you know what's crazy? I'm going to shock you here. You're going over. I've
going
got
under?
them just 10. I've got them going under. I think injuries will hit them. They've had injuries in the past. I think the Rams eke out the division over them if Matthew Stafford stays healthy. They're due to, and Brock Purdy's due to come back down to earth here. I'm going to go 10-7 for them. They get in, but just miss it like the Eagles. 6.5 for the Seahawks. It's too low. Give me over. I know it's a new coach, new regime, but I think this regime is going to get them pointed in the direction where they are dangerous second half of the year. Give me over for the Seabirds.
I think they're best third in that division. Eke out 7 wins, which would put them over. Give me over.
All right. Last 3 here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My neighbor Jesse's a big Bucs fan. 6.5 for the Bucs. Are they the Yucks this year? Well, remains to be seen. But at 6.5, I think they just get it at 7 wins with Baker Mayfield and company and Todd Bowles. Give me over for the Bucs, not the Yucks.
I think Dan says Madden curse. Is that on the Bucs or is it the Raiders?
It's on the Madden video game. Do you know who the Madden cover game athlete is this year?
Is it Rodgers? Is it Jets?
Christian McCaffrey. It's Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
I hope you don't get
there, Dan. But we got to roll through this, Ed. We don't have time for you to play around.
Give me Tampa Bay under the 6.5. Tennessee under the 5.5.
He's going
Commanders way over 5. There's my last 3.
That's his final. He went through it. I'm going over for the Commanders and the Titans at 5.5. It's so low, but I think they're 5.5 though. I'm going to say just over at 6 wins, but that one I could regret later. All right, that's going to do it and close out the show. We thank you all for tuning in. We'll do it again next week. Another 2-hour plus edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. For the coach, Ed Young, I am Matt Hatfield. And again, we will talk to you next time right here on CoVA Sports TV. Enjoy your football weekend, everyone.
Labor Day week. Be safe.